Good to see everyone. Thank you guys for rolling through. Um, Eddie, what's up? Dan, let's see. All right. Good to see everyone. While we give people time to filter in, um, can you guys comment in the chat? Yeah, just let's do a refresh of where people are calling in from. I feel like keep an eye out, by the way, if you see people who are from your city. That way, maybe you can get in touch with someone who lives near you. I feel like that's really cool. Miles, what's up, dude? Matteo in Italy, let's go. Eddie, Oakland, Minneapolis, Devin, what's up? Nelson, Philly, Josh from New York, Chicago, Max, Phoenix, that's awesome. San Diego, London, Vegas, Virginia, SF, Boulder, Orange County. What's up from the metro in Athens? Amazing. That's so sick. Parker, Colorado, Dallas, PDX, NYC, Berlin, amazing. San Mateo, New Orleans, Albuquerque, Houston, from Cali right now, but Seattle originally, awesome. Portland, Mexico City, Vancouver, Northern Utah, Toronto, Vancouver, SF, Chicago. What's up, Jerry? Bucky from Los Angeles, amazing. Calgary, Danbury, Wisconsin, awesome. Houston, okay, sweet. Really, really cool. All right, let's mix it up. I think you know, okay, here's just like a fun icebreaker question just to mix it up. What is your favorite way to eat a potato? So like there's so many different ways, French fries, mashed potatoes, etc. What is your favorite way? Let's, it's Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. I feel like this is a good way to round out the weekend. Gratin, yes, so good. Or gratin, I don't even know how to pronounce it properly, but yes, so tasty. Sweet potato, hash, amazing. Tot. Yes. Mashed with butter, baked mashed fries, mashed, scalloped. Yes, roasted. I love how there's so many different ways. Shepherd's pie. Um, let's see, poutine. Yes. Shout out Canada. Fried spool. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to check that out. Double baked. Damn. Fries all day, mashed. Yes, Adam. Poutine, hush pups. Amazing. Roast with sumac. Yum. Yum indeed. Tots 100, hash browns, cheesy potatoes easily, mashed gravy. I'm gonna drop mine because I haven't seen it yet. Dude, potato gnocchi. So good. Green chili cheese fries, mashed or fried, amazing. Sweet potato fries. Fries. Also, fun fact, my cats love fries. They have two toys that look like fries. Amazing. I love that. Loaded baked potato, fries, tater tots. Feeling tot right now. Okay, amazing. Good representation of tots. Mashed Midwestern style. Amazing. Hash browns. Lovely. Okay, sweet. Now that, yeah, gnocchi is dark horse. Thank you, Miles. Brock, missed the question, but I'm privy to Papas Bravas. Oh, Papas Bravas are so good. Oh, amazing. Okay, cool. All right. Let's just keep it going. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Well, yeah, I feel like let's just dive in. I'm feeling eager and excited, and we got a great crew already. There's so many questions that I have for you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you opened Ableton or tried making music this weekend. Let me see some thumbs. Yes, amazing. Um, uh, yeah, I'm just so like it was so crazy to see so many submissions roll through from the challenges this weekend, and I feel like wherever you're at in your journey, I'm just so happy that you're here, so happy that you're, yeah, giving this whole music thing a shot, and I feel like whether you're brand new or super experienced, I feel like it's so easy to, yeah, feel intimidated, feel, just how daunting, even opening your computer to make music can be. And I think any occasion where we give it a shot and give it a try, it's just very much worth giving ourselves a pat on the back. yeah, I think let's see, and give me a thumbs up if you stopped by yesterday and got to hear Danny Gulliger. Amazing. Oh, that's so awesome. That makes me so happy. Danny is so talented, so knowledgeable, and very grateful that he was able to swing by and that you guys are able to, yeah, enjoy. Okay, cool. So let's see where to go next. I think give me just put in the comment in the chat, like talk to me about how this weekend went, how trying these challenges went, and you can, mention anything from, you know, my Ableton didn't open at all and it was really hard to, I made a song to I got really stuck here. I'm really happy with how this went. Any response, yeah, whatever your experience was, just curious to check in with people. Let me scroll. Okay. Just sent in V2 of mine. Amazing. Lauren, I scrapped mine last night and made another one at like 2 a.m. Lol. Been there. I feel like, let me respond to that real quick. I love, Lauren, I love that you got inspired to give it another attempt at 2 in the morning. That makes me really happy. Yeah, I feel like, it's just interesting. Sometimes that's how the process can be. I feel like in general, what's cool about making music on your computer is like, you technically don't need to scrap things in general. Like you can always just like save the project as like take one, open up a new one, and if there's an idea you have in a song, you can, you can just save you can save a new version, then delete it. I just think sometimes like we always, when it comes to deleting or scrapping things, it's just always possible that the idea might be awesome and we might be sick of it because we've been listening to it too long. It's really hard to have that objectivity. So just always want to put that out there. It could be us that we're just being so judgmental, having listened to the thing for so long. Sometimes you might come back to it a day later and be like, oh, well, there's something here. Or even, a year later, that sometimes happens where you just need a bunch of time from something to see the potential and the magic that it might have. That being said, Lauren, I'm so stoked that, yeah, you made another one. That's incredible. Okay, Simon, I haven't been able to install Ableton on my Mac. Totally feel you on those problems. I feel like, hey, I feel like this is a good takeaway from this weekend is like, okay, I need to like hop on YouTube or like go on Reddit and figure out how to break through this issue. Also for those types of technical issues, for me, like having community is so powerful. When you get that error message and it's just not working, and then like a smart person can just tell you the obvious answer in like 30 seconds versus hours of Googling. So the community, so powerful. I really hope that you get that install sorted. Ellie, mine feels a bit like consenting to public humiliation, but I did the damn things. Amazing. Let's go. You did the damn things. That makes me really happy. Okay, Blaze says hi, more thumbs up. Let's see. Danny killed it. Yes, amazing. More takeaways. I stayed up all night and didn't stop until I was done. Bailey, let's go. Anna, loved getting experience making a breakdown. Beautiful. Cameron had fun squeezing the most out of a synth vocal and drum kit. Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. Bucky, getting good ideas. Oren, speed run. Yes. Miles, super fun making a track with so few components. Yes. See, and it's funny because like it's so easy as an artist to get lost in the sauce of endless possibilities when you have Ableton and when you can do anything. And I just feel like sometimes so much creativity can be sparked when you impose restrictions, and then you can start having fun with the bits that are in front of you. I'm curious, give me a thumbs up if you had fun this weekend making music. Oh, that makes me so happy. Amazing. Okay, cool. I'm gonna read a few more. Jenny, challenging to keep it simple. It's so hard. I want to speak to that for a sec. I think there's something so interesting about this process of making a song with simple elements, because there are challenges that really present themselves. And I feel like the way that I like to think about this is, if you can make music with a few simple sounds, it's sort of like sharpening and honing your fundamental skills so that you can make really good songs. I feel like it's kind of like if we were cooking, it's like, how can you cook a really good pizza with just cheese, tomato sauce, and bread, or like tacos that just, tortilla, meat, onion, cilantro. Like, can you make an amazing taco with just those ingredients? Because if you can, then adding other things is going to be amazing, versus, if you don't know how to prepare your meat very well and you just cover it up with a bunch of cheese and salsas and other stuff, it's just, I feel like you might be missing out on something really delicious. All right, let me keep on reading. Chelsea, playing with velocity and drums was fun. So fun. Natalie, it was super fun. Didn't realize how much you can do with just drums and a vocal. It's crazy, crazy. Roxy, I learned a lot of things I hadn't discovered in Ableton before, but I struggled to pull together something cohesive. Amazing. Lauren, it got me inspired and not to get stuck on things. When I did, I started something new and it was way better. I love that. That's awesome. Don Juan, wasn't sure how to change the pitch for the synth I used. That's fair. Hopefully we can figure out how to do that. And yeah, pretty simple. I've been on Logic Pro my whole career, so this was something new for me. It was actually a super cool experience. Oh, that makes me so happy that you gave Ableton a shot. And by the way, for anyone who's using other programs, I very much feel that there's no difference between any of them. At the end of the day, it's like whatever you're comfortable with. There might be subtle differences between them, but none of it matters in the grand scheme of things. There's great songs that are made on every program, and great artists use every program. I like Ableton. A lot of people seem to use it, but there's other great programs as well. And yeah, it just doesn't matter. They're all the same at the end of the day. Nicole, the system is brand new to me, and it took took a lot of effort to figure it out. Thank you, ChatGPT. I made some 8-beat melodies, but no songs. Oh, Nicole, I'm so happy that you got to 8-beat melodies. That's huge. And I think if you can get there, getting to a full song is so doable. And, to be brand new and just like tackling these, trying to get over this hump, in many ways can be the most difficult, sort of chapter in the journey. And it sounds like you're making such good progress, which is awesome. Josh, love the simplicity of things. Adam, was out of the house for the weekend, but cranking something out before 2 was a good reminder to just get shit done. Let's go. Let's see. DJ Me Time. Hi. Arranging by ear with the DJ POV made it so much easier. Oh, amazing. Amazing. I had so much fun putting together something in an hour and just have fun with it. Love that. I feel like that's such a big part of making music too. So many of us are here because we are a huge fan of music. Maybe there's artists or songs that really inspire us and have really meant a lot to us. And I think when we have that taste and that passion, sometimes we can put so much pressure on the music that we make. And often that could make everything really difficult when there's so much pressure on how good this thing is, how much it represents us as artists. This song, like, I want it to embody everything that I represent artistically. And it's like, that could just be so much. Or even if it's like, if you start having judgments about how good or not good your song is, and then you start making that a reflection about how good or not good, or how talented or not talented you are as an artist, it's like all these things just make it so not fun and are so unproductive. Really appreciate all these comments. I want to keep it going. So really appreciate everyone sharing, and just so cool to see everyone in their different stages of their journeys. I think one thing that's really important is, I want to talk a little bit about mindset. When it comes to being an artist, I mean, I think the most important, I think one of the coolest parts about being an artist is it's a chance to really express yourself authentically. You know, making art, it's a chance for you to take whatever it is you're feeling and get it out of you, set it to music, and yeah, to express whatever emotions you're feeling, whatever experiences you've been dealing with. You can take all of that and put it into your own music. And I feel like as artists, it's all a chance to like discover your unique like essence as a human. And one of the most important parts of this process is to not compare ourselves to each other, because each of us is our own person, has our own journey. Our music might have its own unique context that is not meant to compete with someone else's and is just might be its own thing. And I feel like the more that we compare ourselves to each other and, come to conclusions about how good or not good we are by looking around at other people, I just feel like it makes everything worse. It makes everything way less fun. And the reality is there's never anything productive to glean from these types of comparisons. I feel like a really good example would be, like if you found a really, really beautiful song that was, maybe the perfect song to, fall asleep to, like a beautiful lullaby, and it's like just a beautiful, like, going to bed kind of song, and you played it at the beginning of like a pregame and when all your friends wanted to party, they'd be like, dude, this is just not the right vibe for this occasion, or if you played the lullaby during like peak time, like on the dance floor, it just might not be the ideal context for that song to shine. And I think it's just interesting. I feel like in many ways, when it comes to judgment in music, this is something that I feel very, very strongly about. Whenever we get negative feedback on our music, whether it's, internally, us just projecting our own self-judgment on a song, or whether it's external, whether it's people on the dance floor didn't respond the way you wanted to, or maybe you sent a song to a friend or a record label or to a DJ, and maybe they, explicitly say something negative about it. They're saying, oh, I don't like the mix, or I don't like these sounds, or I don't like this song. Whenever we get negative feedback or critical feedback of any kind, it's always so important to take it with a grain of salt, because that person can always be wrong. And I feel like one of my favorite examples is like the Beatles. Some people love the Beatles and the Beatles are their favorite artists, and other people hate the Beatles. Like, give me a thumbs up if you've ever met someone who doesn't like the Beatles. Some of you might not have ever, like a bunch of you, right? And it's like the Beatles are inarguably like a lot of people's favorite artists. Personally, I love the Beatles. I think they're great. Earlier in my life, I actually didn't like the Beatles and thought they were kind of boring. So it's like, even something that, even an artist who makes incredible music is going to have people who don't like the music, and it's like, if that's happening for the Beatles, then I feel like it's going to be a pretty universal thing. Everyone just has their own taste, it's all contextual. If you play like the most banging club track of all time at 4 a.m. when on a weeknight when you're trying to go to bed, you're going to get annoyed at it. If you listen to the same song 20,000 times in a row, you're going to get sick of it, right? And so all this negative feedback, there could be a bajillion arbitrary reasons why someone doesn't like the song. And so if you send someone a song and they don't like it, and your conclusion is, I am a garbage artist. That's like the most silly takeaway to have logically, but sometimes it can feel that way, right? You know, you can show someone a song or listen to it yourself and have all these judgments and immediately feel like yourself questioning your own self-worth as an artist. I don't know, has anyone ever felt that way before? Because I certainly have myself, and it's so normal. The craziest thing is, you know, when we talk about it in, you know, me talking about it in this way, it can sound so silly, but when it's actually happened, it can feel so real. And I think the most powerful thing that we can do is to realize that these things are happening. You know, the more self-awareness we can bring into this internal dialogue, the more we can at least begin to stop it. Because if you don't realize that it's happening, and then you just have this like pattern of internal language where you're just being really mean to yourself or taking in this energy that's really negative and just allowing it to sink in, then it can just go on forever until you catch it, you know? And so catching the negativity and identifying it is so important, because once you do, my hope is that you can then realize how arbitrary all of this stuff is. You know, when that person who doesn't like it, you know, when you think about it and you're like, wait, I sent a really aggressive dubstep song to someone who hates EDM and electronic music. You're like, obviously they're not going to like it. Or you're like, oh, wow, I showed my friends this new track at like 7 a.m. on a Sunday when they were really hungover. You know, like, obviously they're probably not going to like any music at all, you know, whatever the, you know, and maybe there is no obvious thing to pinpoint, but we just need to make sure that if we don't get the positive feedback that we would love, that we don't start automatically saying it's about the quality of the song and it's about our self-worth as artists. Does that make sense to people? Cool. And it's so important. You know, it's like grappling with these things. It is a lifelong part of being an artist. And I think what's really cool about every single person here, whatever your relationship is with art and music, I feel like this sort of vulnerability when it comes to making music is like one of the most, you know, it's one of the most vulnerable things in our lives, you know, like to try making a song and then showing it to people. It's so intensely vulnerable. And if you can build, you know, your confidence and fearlessness in this domain, you can really apply it to anything. And I feel like there's something so beautiful about that, you know, like being your authentic self, even when it's scary, even in the face of the judgment of others, and being yourself, even when you receive judgment from others. But yeah, you know, it's just a process. And I think it's like going to the gym. You just got to keep on doing it. And I think in art, it's really common to, you know, maybe you begin and you're scared to even show a family member or a close friend your song. And then you push through those fears and builds the confidence to do that. And then it's like going to the gym and you get stronger, but then you just go to heavier weights. And it's like, well, then maybe the fear of like sending your song to a DJ you love or a record label or playing your song at a show, you know, and then those things can get scary, you know, can be really scary. And you then like have to once again feel that sort of like that struggle and that, you know, you have to overcome those challenges. And I think it just continues over and over again. You know, like for me, I've released music on so many different record labels over the years. And just last week, there's this label that I've been like really obsessed with like over the past year. And I finally decided to send the person who runs it some music. And I was just like, oh, this is so scary. And it's just like, it's normal to feel the fears to have that internal dialogue of like, what if they don't like it? That is normal. All you need to do is to say fuck it and send it. To say fuck it and bounce the song down and upload to SoundCloud. To say fuck it, I'm gonna finish the song even though I might be feeling all this judgment and doubt that it's worth finishing. Because anyone who's negative, whether it's other people or yourself, all that negativity could always be wrong. And that's my biggest takeaway when it comes to feedback. Whenever there's negative feedback, we always want to take it with a grain of salt, because that person, even if they're like the most, knowledgeable, cool person of all time, that person could always be wrong. And there could be someone else who loves that song just the way it is. And I've experienced that so many times where I had a song that maybe I show my close friends who normally give me great feedback, and maybe they don't really respond to it. They're not that excited about it. And it becomes a huge track. Like, it's so crazy. I got to make music with this legendary techno producer from Iceland named Exos. And he played Tresor and Berghain when he was like 19, 20. And this is like in the late 90s, early 2000s. He's been an amazing, techno artist for decades. And he made this track that he sent to his friends, and they all told him, like, to his face. I haven't spent time in Iceland before, but my impression is that, like, at least his group of friends is like very, very blunt, but they're all like, Exos, this track sucks. They're like, this is one of the worst tracks you've ever made. And they're like, he's like a legend, but he was like, oh man, really? Like, he's like, he was very unsure of it, but he, for whatever reason, maybe that song ended up getting sent around to other DJs. Maybe it was in his demo folder, and it ended up getting played by like Nina Kravitz and I believe Anitha and like all these amazing techno artists. And it ended up coming out on Mutual Rhythm, which is like one of the coolest techno labels in Germany right now. And I feel like it's played a part in just like, it's like become just this huge track, and everyone around him told him it sucked. And it's like, who is right, who is wrong? Well, like, probably not the people who told him it was bad, because so many incredible artists and people ended up loving the track. And it's just, I hope that paints the picture for how timeless that can be, this issue of like dealing with negative feedback and self-judgment. And on the flip side, when we're sharing our art with other people, whenever we do get positive feedback, it's so, so important to always take that positivity in. And I'm curious, has anyone ever been in a situation where someone said something nice, either to you directly or about your music, and you like just totally like deflect the compliment? It's like, like, oh, that's a cute picture. And you're like, I hate that picture. Or like, about your music, and you're like, no, this track's not even mastered, or whatever. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever deflected a positive comment from someone, right? It's like, we're so quick to do this. And obviously, like, if someone is being insincere, like, with their positivity, fair enough. But, I think there's so many times where there is really genuine positivity that we just completely refuse to take in. And that's so unproductive. It doesn't help anyone. And I think, to be very specific about music, it's honestly like one of the most like wasteful learning opportunities as an artist. Because if you're doing something that is working, you want to understand what is working, as quickly as possible, because that's actually what you can build from. When a song works, like, there's a magic there that hopefully we can bring with us as we continue to make more songs, and it could be something simple like, oh wow, that kick drum is really nice. Okay, well, maybe I'll use that kick drum in other songs. Like, excuse me. I think it's so funny how often, like artists will have a very cohesive sound because they find like little elements that seem to work in their tracks, and so they'll just keep on using them. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if it can be easy to think like, oh, on my computer I'm gonna like start every song from scratch, but if you spent $5,000 to buy a 909 drum machine, it would be kind of dumb just to use it on one song and then throw the synth away afterwards, right? Like, if you find things that are working, reuse them. If the song came together really nicely, like, and it was if people like the song and you were being really judgmental about it, there's a huge takeaway, because maybe it's like, maybe you don't need to be that judgmental about that song or about the next song. It's like, it's crazy when you make a song that people really like and you only spent 45 minutes on it. You can you can learn like, oh wait, maybe I don't need to spend 5 months perfecting a song to make it feel good, which is often the case. So just to recap, negative comments, always take them in with a grain of salt. Positive comments, we always want to fully accept that positivity and hopefully keep that positivity going. Does that make sense to people? Amazing. Okay, sweet. So little agenda for today. Really excited to have such an awesome squad here. What I would like to do is we're gonna split up into breakout rooms to have like a more intimate setting to listen to each other's songs, and I will kind of speak to what this breakout room process will be in just a little bit. Also, by the way, I know there's a bunch of people here who messaged me that they were down to host breakout rooms, / like anyone who's like worked with me in the past. If you're open to hosting a little breakout room, it's gonna be super fun, super easy. Could you please raise your hand like this? And Kate will help organize the homies accordingly. Okay, sweet. So yeah, just raise your hand if you're down to host a breakout room. It's gonna be like a 20-minute thing, super easy, super fun. And yes, really appreciate it. Okay, cool. And I'll give more info on what they're gonna be.
Keep your hands up, please.
Yeah, please.
Don't undo your hand. Just please keep it up.
Amazing. Okay, sweet. And let's see. Yeah, if you're struggling to, I saw Omar that you raised your hand physically. If you look on the Zoom panel, there's a button that just says raise hand, lower hand. If you're struggling to find that, it's okay. But just search on that toolbar. It's next to where the share screen button is. Anywho, okay, cool. So I'll give more info on the breakout rooms, but that's gonna be super fun. Then we are gonna do, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about finishing songs, and then we'll end the session with just like a super open Q&A. So, for anyone who has like random questions about super specific Ableton things, maybe like you never figured out how to how to get different notes on the synth, this is like a great opportunity to do that. Okay, sweet. So for the breakout rooms, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna drop this little breakout room kind of like syllabus into the chat, and I'll make sure that like everyone's set up with it, but it's gonna be super simple. What we're gonna do, break out into rooms, go around the room, introduce yourselves, and then what I'd like is for everyone in the group to send a SoundCloud link or streamable link of your song into the chat. If you feel comfortable doing it, you don't need to do this if you're really nervous. But then whoever the group leader is, if you can then share your screen. When you share your screen, by the way, make sure to here, I'll do like some screenshots, but you click you click the green arrow down here. Let's see, in the Zoom chat like this here, just going to show. You hit the green arrow, which says share, and then there's a pop-up. The most important thing that you want to do is click the share sound box like so. And that way, when you share your screen, you can, like share the audio that's playing off your computer. And so if you're a group leader, you're going to share your screen, share your audio as you DJ through everyone's Zoom links. And, I would say if you could play like maybe 30 seconds of everyone's song and skip around to try to like find like the meat of the track, if it's like a longer song, that way we can kind of hear a little bit about from what everyone did. Once we do this, while we're doing the song share, if everyone in the group can type what they like about the song and give people some positive feedback. And, we might be listening to audio snippets from someone who literally just downloaded Ableton this weekend. And, like we want to be listening for like, dude, like if that's the case, like, holy shit, like like the fact that they even exported an audio clip successfully is like a huge achievement. And it's just really, wherever someone is in their journey, maybe they've been doing this for 10 years, but have been facing so much self-judgment that like sharing anything at all is like a crazy victory in itself. It's just, we really want to give each other that positivity to keep things going. And then after we do a little song share, I want you guys in your group to go around, and if each of you can then share a win that you want to celebrate, maybe it's about your song and you're just so happy that you made something. Maybe share if someone gave you a piece of feedback that you really take to heart, like, someone says, oh, I really like the vocal. And you're like, I'm really happy that I recorded my voice on this track. Like I was so vulnerable, and, acknowledge that win. If it's what, I spent, the fact that I'm on this Zoom call and that I'm here trying to get better, even though this stuff is so difficult, daunting, scary, that can be a win. But I want everyone to really give themselves a chance to, really give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate what it is you're doing wherever you are on your journey. Does that sound cool with everyone? Okay, amazing. Really, really appreciate it. And I will try to bounce around to just check on the groups to see how it's going. But I think it is 3:40 p.m. Here on the East Coast of the US. Let's try to do 20 minutes. So I'll be breaking up the rooms on the hour. And, hopefully, I apologize in advance if someone gets cut off a little bit early, but hopefully we'll have more time. And does this sound cool with everyone? Give me a thumbs up if this all sounds good. Amazing. Okie dokie. And Kate, I'm happy to also help you with the breakout rooms.
Awesome. I'm almost done sorting it out, you guys. So give me just one more moment.
Okay.
Each room has the name of the person who will be leading it. But I may not have put the person who's leading it in that room. So you please keep an eye out for your name and go to your room if you're not already automatically assigned to that. And let's see, I'm just doing the last one, which will be Kai.
Cool.
Your room 6, Miss Kai. And oh, 2 more seconds, friends.
Amazing. Kate, thank you so much for helping us. Really, really appreciate
Jerry,
it.
there you are. I see you. Okay, so again, if you are not, if you are asked to go to a room that does not have your name, you can come back to this room and we'll put you in the correct room. Okay. Going to you said 20 minutes, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, stand by. Okay, and here we go. Have fun.
Amazing. All righty. Amazing, Kate. Thank you so much. I know that was probably so stressful.
No, it's okay. I hope that I got it right.
Sure.
And let me stop the recording. We've got a few stragglers here.
To plug in my computer. Let's see, is that working? Okay, cool. Amazing. Sweet. Alrighty, and it looks like people are coming out of the breakout rooms. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, sweet. So, yep, I guess, Kate, are some of the breakout rooms still open? Yeah, that's like probably what's happening. Cool.
Yeah,
Sweet.
they get automatically pulled back when the little countdown timer ends.
Amazing. Okay, sweet. Beautiful. Kate, thank you so much for the help. Hello, everyone. Apologies in advance for any technical difficulties. I know sometimes Zoom can be clunky, and I feel like apologies for anyone who got cut off mid-sentence or while their song was playing. I hope give me a thumbs up if you got to share a song with some other people today. Yes. And just, I think in terms of everything that we were talking about, the vulnerability of sharing music, like what you guys have just done, I feel like is such a courageous and fearless thing to do, to play your music for anyone, even if especially if it's something that you've only worked on for a few minutes or a few hours and something you put together in a rush just in one weekend. And yeah, it's just so amazing how vulnerable everyone is willing to be. And it's crazy because when you put yourself out there and maybe there's something that seems really scary, and then when you do it, you realize, wait, I can do this. And hopefully you can keep on surprising yourself and just doing amazing things. Let's see, let's do a little bit before we move on. Can we do some more takeaways? Like, is anyone willing to maybe hop on the microphone and raise your hand electronically if you're willing to talk about your experience this weekend, any takeaways, any wins? Would be cool to just open it up. Kai, how's everything going?
Hey, things are going pretty good. Honestly, I was not expecting to join this session. I've been super busy in life, had a lot of interpersonal and emotional stressors. But I don't know what it was, but for some reason when I saw the email in my inbox of free workshop this weekend, it reminded me it was 2 years ago that I took your class, which is crazy to think about. But I remember the 909 challenge then, and I remember how much better I got at arranging and finishing tracks after that. And I've been making music for 8 years before I took that class, and the 2 years after taking the class, completely changed the direction. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm making stuff that I think is the most emotionally accurate music that I've ever made, as well as some of the danciest music that I've ever made, and I'm doing it faster than ever before. All because of that foundation. You know what I mean?
oh man.
And so yeah, for some reason I was just you know what, I'm gonna join it and see what's up. And I've been for probably since April, I've been in a creative funk where every time I go to sit down in the studio and do something in the DAW, it kind of just this sucks. You know what I mean? But I was okay, I'll try the 909 challenge. And I finished 6 solid tracks in the last 2 days. And
Dude,
did a whole
crazy.
EP in one day, just because I was you know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna sit down and buckle down and do it. So really appreciate the space that you make for these classes and with this community. It is super beneficial. And thank you to everyone that was in my breakout. I also want to say, if you guys want to share those tracks with me personally, because I didn't get a chance to say this, please do, because I would love to hear your guys' tracks.
Oh, Kai, thank you so much for sharing. That makes me so happy. And also, everyone check out Dumb Boy Sticky. Kai's music is amazing, insanely talented artist, DJ, producer, based out of Salt Lake City, and just just doing
Oh.
crazy things. Dude, that is so insane to hear. You know, to hear you talk about, you know, I feel like it's just so interesting, right? Like how level the playing field can be, you know, to hear you talk about having years of production experience under your belt, and then to hear that you've been feeling, you know, a bit of, you know, some writer's block these past few months, you know, and it's like when you're feeling that writer's block, it's like, maybe could you paint the picture for what that felt like for you these past few months?
Yeah, actually. So I like I'd make maybe a track every other month that I was happy with, or like something that was like mostly fleshed out. Um, but I would that was something that was like really hard to deal with at first because I'm just like, what do I do with my time? And so I write a lot, I do poetry, and just like journaling and stuff. And that ended up taking a huge like front seat for that entire time.
Mhm.
And once I got back into producing, it kind of all meshed again. And so I
Amazing.
just had actually my first international release on a Swiss label on Thursday.
Let's
And
go.
I got to release two poems with the tracks because they share the same titles.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So it was really kind of like, I guess what it looked like to answer your question is like confusing in
Mhm.
the moment, but then once you come out of it, you realize that you were never really off track. You
Yeah,
were just busy doing something else.
100%. Oh, I feel like that's so inspiring. And I feel like what you just said holds so much wisdom. You know, I think wherever we're at in our journeys, if things are not moving the way we would like or as fast as we would like, that doesn't mean that we're not moving forward, you know, like some, you know, it's like obviously if we're feeling stuck, we want to break through whatever wall is in front of us, but sometimes breaking through that wall can take time, or it just can look there's so many different ways that our journeys can unfold, and what might seem like a period of things moving slowly with your music, to hear that you were developing in other ways and then they all ultimately came together. It's just so beautiful. And I feel like similar things can be, you know, taking place for people who are brand new. You know, it's like if you're feeling like that making music is so daunting and it's just so hard, and you know, maybe, you know, for someone who maybe you have this weekend and you don't make anything else for like a whole year, but I do this again next year, and maybe that's where things click. It's like just all of our journeys can be really unexpected, and you could have a really slow period of time, and then out of nowhere, like Kai, just now you said you made like 6 songs this weekend.
Yes, and then I actually made two before hopping on
Uh-huh.
just this morning because also I couldn't sleep at all.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Oh, that's so inspiring. I can't wait to hear you. Please send them to me. And by the way, we'll do, because I'm sure some people got their songs cut off or didn't get the chance to play. At the very, very end of the session, we'll do like one big song share of whoever's still here. And just try to get a little bit more sharing. Does that sound cool with everyone? Okay, sweet. Beautiful. Kai, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing. Oh, so inspired. It's amazing. All right, let's keep it going. Luke, how's everything going with you, dude?
Things are awesome. Yeah, this past few days has been just so invigorating, and I did the boot camp last year,
Mhm.
and I've just been like telling all of my friends, especially my music friends, like to do it or like come check it out and everything, because like it was one of the most um like mindset shifting experiences that I've had making music in the most positive way. And yeah, over the past months, I've felt good about what I'm making and have dialed in on some things that I like, and techniques that I like to do now. But I really feel this desire to like get back in that mindset of just fuck it and make a bunch of stuff, and while still learning new things and working on fundamentals. And I already feel back in that mindset over the past couple days. Like I'm just so excited. So feeling really good.
Oh, let's go. That makes me so happy to hear. Amazing, amazing. All right, let's see. Bailey, how's it / Matthew? How are you two doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Love, so good. We're just kicking it about a spin once this is over.
Mhm.
And I have been producing for 5 years now. I was primarily working in like the dream pop psych rock space,
Mhm.
but dance music has completely taken over my life in the last year. And the track that I made on Friday into Saturday was my first real attempt at making a hard groove song. And it's like so crazy to me how quickly it all came together because, like I said, I stayed up all night making the track. I posted it to SoundCloud 45 minutes before I went into my last shift at the bar that I work at. And I've just not stopped listening to it because I'm like, I can't believe I made that. I posted this on my Instagram. I was like, make music that you would be stoked to hear if somebody else made it. And that's really how I felt. Like,
Oh,
unbelievable.
yes.
Like, Mishlift has been one of my top inspirations, as well as you and Miha and Marlon Hofstadt. Like, I made a track that was like paying homage to a lot of those people in the Pantheon. And like, you know what? The coolest thing about it is that when I go back and listen to that song, I think, damn, I love this song, but I know it can also be better. So I'm like, this is only the first release. I'm gonna remix it and I'm gonna add more layers because that was just like the 909 challenge. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I didn't even touch Splice or Serum or any other samples. It was literally the 909, it was the vocal, and it was a synth. And that was it. And I was like, that really proved to me that you do not need a bunch of expensive plugins or a bunch of like crazy additions to make a banger. It's true. Like, I'll drop the link. But yeah, yeah, it's so great. Big VST is a scam. That's so
That's so funny.
Hey, I will say Isotope is not a scam. That shit is amazing, but other than that, maybe. Yeah. But Justin, thank you. Also, I really, really want to hear y'all sound off if you're gonna be at the boot camp in December. That shit is gonna be dope. Fab Filter represent. Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Oh, Bailey, oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, there's so many amazing things that you just shared. You know, Bailey just mentioned Mishlift, and Mishlift, amazing artist from Germany who's absolutely killing it. He just did his first Boiler Room set. He's had all these amazing tracks that have been very well received. And I believe that he had only been making music for about a year when everything kind of popped off. And, you know, it's just really interesting that I love that you mentioned Mishlift as an inspiration of yours, because I think he's embodying this essence of like not needing to overcomplicate your tracks, not needing to use a bunch of fancy stuff. And, you know, I don't know what program Mishlift uses, but it's very possible that, you know, he's not really using any fancy synths or anything like that, just some cool samples and really cool ideas. And, you know, it's you know, there are artists, you know, and types of tracks that can be more complex and difficult to attain. But yeah, if your goal is to make people dance and make people feel good on the dance floor, that can be done so simply. And I'm so glad to hear that you experienced that magic and that you are feeling excited about what you've made yourself. Because I think, I don't know, I feel like that's one of my favorite parts about making music is you make something, you get to listen to it. And it's so cool. And I hope that there's many more moments like that to come. So Bailey, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm excited to hear your track. Let's go.
Thanks. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, what's up?
I also wanted to mention that there is a huge difference between hearing a song through your headphones and hearing a song through like the best sound system you've ever heard. When Miha played Summer Groove in Detroit,
Uh-huh.
that was like peak moment for me in my life. I was like, come on, I've listened to this song so many times, but hearing it through like the craziest sound system ever, entirely different experience. Y'all play your shit
Yes.
when you play out. Oh my God.
That's amazing. And I feel like, Bailey, that's such a good point. I mean, I feel like honestly, even if you played the most like rough scratch track on just the fattest sound system and I like huge subwoofers and your body is shaking, it like doesn't even like you could just
Okay.
play a kick drum through a fat sound system and it would be pretty epic.
They're like very low.
Here, let me just mute everyone. Boom. Love that. Love that. Great comment. All right, let's try to touch upon one or a few more people's comments. Let's see. Sarah, how's everything going with you?
What's up? Everything's
much.
good.
Oh.
I'm like holding back tears hearing Ty talk because like just talking about the journey, like I could talk for hours about it, but like I like fell in love with dance music in the 2013-14 era. I found like a hidden gem, like music industry studies program in a community college when everyone else was going to get fancy degrees. I like stumbled on music production. And then life really kicked my ass and I had like years of hiatus. And like the longer the years went by, like this is all I want to do. It's like it was devastating to me. Like it just like ate me up and it just like drove me further and further into this like hole, you know, like the longer I didn't make music. And it's literally been like the last couple of years that like things just like got reignited where I was like, let's fucking go. Like I went to ADE 2022 by myself and I looked around and I was like, dude, there's fucking room for me. Like get home and get to work.
Let's go.
And I plugged into your chat with Sam last year and like I didn't have the balls to do this 909 challenge then. Like I was just kind of like reteaching myself stuff that like there was all this like muscle memory, but it was so frustrating, like getting in there and being pissed at myself. Like, dude, why was I sleeping on myself for so long? Like, you know, but like the journey is what it is. Like, I'm grateful for like the time in between. It was building me, you know, like I went through what I went through for a reason, but like coming back this year and plugging in and just being like, yeah, let's do this challenge. And like, I literally gave no fucks, like you said, like
Yes.
I like took full advantage. So like I used my own vocal and I knew from the jump, I was like, I overcomplicate things. I take way too long on my tracks. I have such perfectionism. Like I deal with such like the mental battle with this shit. And like, I literally started with a vocal of my own vocal that was like, hurry up, you're running out of time. Where are we going? Like, that's the whole vocal. Cause I knew I was gonna have to remind myself, like, move through the assignment, move through it, just make the track, just do what Justin said to do, dude. And like, dude, like your like arrangement, like workflow, just keeping things so simple like that. It was so fun to see myself just like follow along. And there were certain times where I was like, wait, is really duplicating this like this? And like now all of a sudden I have to piece a couple things together. Like it was just crazy how like my brain was like so resistant to certain things. And then I do it and I was like, wait, no, this fucking works. Like when I first started the track, the first night I had to walk away from it because I was like, I wanted to go in and adjust the drum sounds. Like I wanted to like change everything. And I literally just like came back to it the next day. I was just like, nope, just move through the assignment. Like just follow suit, understand the assignment and like put the track together. And I'm like, yo, like this is kind of like this could be a bob.
Let's go. Sarah, this all makes me so happy to hear. And yo, just with what you were saying about, you know, that journey that you've been on where there was that spark and for whatever reason you weren't able to follow it and the years were moving past you and then you go to ADE, you feel this wave of inspiration and now here you are making music and just tackling the beast head on. It's so inspiring. And can everyone just unmute real quick and make some noise for Sarah for
Let's go.
getting back on the horse and making music? Sarah.
Get on that horse.
Uh,
Keep going.
So awesome. Thank you everyone for hopping on. I mean, it's just like, give me a thumbs up if you relate to that journey in one way or another, right? It's like we've all felt this exact way, and I really believe, it's like the one thing that's really cool is even if you take time away from making music, or feel as though maybe you're not 18 anymore or something like that, I feel like when it comes to production and DJing, I feel like everything ages with time, where the older we get, the more music we're able to discover and learn, and the more our ear just refines itself, even without doing anything really, just by being subjected to music, whether it's on the radio or just in our daily lives. And I think there's something really powerful about that. And this is, I think this is something that's really interesting, that's worth mentioning. I feel like as we, develop our taste, there is a superpower that we're honing in on, and it happens just kind of naturally by listening to music, discovering things you like. And the catch is the superpower comes with a potential weakness, and that's when you have an amazing taste and then are being really judgmental on your own stuff. And I think the most important thing is just realizing that when it comes to making music, you're going to lose all of your objectivity, and you just need to completely let go and trust that you are on the journey of being an artist, and you just can't let that great taste that guides you in so many great ways to like interfere, because I think like having great taste, it enters your DNA in a way that like you might not even be aware of. It's like just so important to not, when you're working on a song, maybe hear a couple of metaphors for how having really good taste could be detrimental while making the song. If you were baking a cake, you wouldn't want to eat the cake before it's in the oven to gauge how good it tastes. So if you're making a song and you taste it and you're like, oh, I don't like this at all, you might be like eating raw eggs. You gotta put it in the oven. You can't taste the cake before it's been baked. So to be really patient, to just be like, I have no objectivity because the song might not even be done, so I just got to put it in the oven and not worry about it, and then maybe that song took you, let's call it 5 hours to make. Well, if you listen to any song for 5 hours, you're obviously going to be sick of it. You're obviously going to lose objectivity. So I feel like in these ways, we need to like learn how to almost disengage our own superpowers when it comes to taste and judgment while we're creating. Hope that helps. But Sarah, thank you again so much for sharing. So inspiring to hear your journey. I hope, give me a thumbs up if you're feeling inspired from what she shared. That was just so amazing. Awesome. All right, let's do one or two more. Let's see, Ellie, how are you doing? I see you have high five, the hands up and the thumbs up.
Right, like a double one.
That's amazing.
This was so wonderful. I had a friend share this challenge with me like 3 or 4 days ago, and it was absolutely the kick in the butt that I needed. I only just started DJing, like got my first controller 6 months ago, and then kind of knew like it's a time for me to start learning this stuff. Like I had been putting it off, and I was like, I know I want to learn it, but I downloaded Ableton, and like, y'all, it took me like an angry crying hour just to hear the metronome. Like the first time I downloaded, I was like, I can't even get a metronome sound. Like I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. And so then coming to this, and like the first few minutes on the Friday, I was like, I'm in over my head. I don't belong here. Like, I don't know who do I think I am that I could just like come in here and like, I don't know enough Ableton. And then I was like, you know what? Even if you don't do the challenge, you're still going to learn things just by watching this. So stay with it. And I actually submitted a track Like, it's so weird to me. And I kept doing the thing where like, I was like on the wrong beat and I didn't like how it sounded. And I was like, that's not the point. This is not a challenge that I'm supposed to like this. This is a challenge of do the fucking thing. And if I didn't like it, I just duplicated it and tried to fix it in the next part. So it's like you hear the song and it's literally a journey of like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck. Okay, this is like kind of something. And then, oh, okay. All right. Like, and it's like you can hear the Weeknd's journey. And so that was my experience. Thank you so much for having this.
Ellie, what you just described with your song, that sounds like artistically magnificent. Like that sounds like to hear like your evolution of understanding developed as the song continues. Like, dude, like that just sounds like art with like a capital A to me, you know? Oh, that's so inspiring. That's crazy. And yeah, I'm curious, like anyone give me a thumbs up in the crowd if you also just started making music for the first time this weekend and can relate to that. Like, yes, let's go. Oh, that's so Ellie, you did it. You fucking did it. That's amazing. Oh, I'm so stoked. And it's crazy because like, yeah, you know, sometimes throwing yourself in the fire, even when it seems like a crazy idea, is sometimes like one of the best ways to learn because, you know, like you put yourself into this like kind of like intense environment where you went from not knowing how to hear the sound of the metronome to submitting a track. And that sounds really scary, but you did it. I guess like, do you have any advice for people who like might have not opened Ableton this weekend and like might be like inspired by what you were able to do? Like any advice for how to overcome that fear?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my DJ name is Delusion for a reason, because after I went to my first festival and I started daydreaming about like, what's it like to be up there, like DJing and having this crowd and you're making these sounds, like, and I was like, I feel delusional thinking that. And then I just leaned into it. Like, I was like, okay, but maybe it is delusional. Okay, but you still want it. Like, just do it. Like embracing the concept of like, you feel a little like silly or you feel like people are judging you. Like, okay, so what? Like, just accept that that's what's true and then like move through it. Because I'm never going to be the artist I want to be if I keep waiting to become that artist. Like, I have to put in the work now if I ever want to be where I'm going to go.
That is so inspiring. And I love the story behind your artist name because I feel like that energy is like actually unstoppable. Like what you just laid out for people, it's crazy. And, you know, like I was with my dear friend Amber, who goes by Miha, last week in Berlin. And, you know, it's like crazy, you know, when you like artists who I feel like it's a kind of a common quality within really successful artists to have this ability to do things that just seem impossible. And just when you have, you know, this what you just described with like your artist name Delusion and like that line of like, oh, this seems like crazy. This seems like something unrealistic. Often it's those things that are actually like the more we lean into going for those things, that those seemingly like delusional aspirations or impossible dreams like actually come true, because like 99% of people just don't even try. You know, and then if you do try and it doesn't happen the first time, pretty much all that you need to do is just keep on trying, learning, and not give up. And then the craziest things can happen. And I feel like this is like another reoccurring theme. You know, I was talking to Bad Boombox. We did like a little Zoom sesh the other day. And he was like telling me how so many of his successful artist friends, something amazing happens right before they were going to quit. And it's like, the power of not giving up is just so insane. It's so insane. Not giving up, shooting your shot, you know, it's like all those cheesy expressions. You miss the shots you don't take. Like, that is true.
And like not taking it so seriously, like reminding myself that this is just fun. This is just like, if it's going to be something more serious, it's going to have to be fun first, or I'm never going to get there. And when I was like saving the song, I was like, I don't know what to call it. like I thought that in my head, and then I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's the thing. And my husband goes, yeah, it sounds like music. That's why my track is called Sounds Like Music.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. That is so awesome. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. And you know, one more thing about, like, you talk about having fun, and you were, it sounds like you were successfully able to disengage your own self-judgment from the process. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of my superpowers.
Okay, so like that superpower will continue to serve you even when you're like a decade into producing, because artists, even when they're super successful and super established and have written hit songs, so often will encounter writer's block, which is often from becoming too critical on their own work. And I see this all the time where I've made music with really talented artists, and we're doing something and they're just like lost in their own head of being like, this song sucks, this is trash. And it's like, they're just so wrong. And I feel like when we start having fun, I feel like it's like, you know, I feel like maybe one anecdote that many of you might have heard me talk about, I feel like a good framework for navigating this issue of when the judgment shows up. I feel like within us, one of my favorite sort of frameworks to think about making music and being an artist is like, within us, there's two people. There's an inner artist who has fun and creates from a place of emotion and just is fearless and just has almost like this childish energy, the inner artist. And then there's also an inner manager who is like, you know, the one who wants the song to get signed to a label, or who wants the song to be perfect for the DJ set, or wants the song to you know, be loved by all these people, and has kind of like this maybe more like parental energy of like, the song needs to be good and the song needs to be this. And, you know, you can imagine making music in the studio and there's some person in a black tie and suit who's like the record label person being like, this song is too boring, this song is too repetitive, this song is too annoying, this song is too this or not, the song isn't banging enough, the song isn't like this enough, whatever. And all of those internal judgments are just so not useful. Like, you would never want to be an artist who has some guy in a suit telling you what to do or has some guy you know, be in the studio with someone who's just like ruining the vibe with negativity and judgment. And it's when the more that we can distance ourselves from those voices and just embody exactly, Ellie, what you know, sort of showed us, I feel like we have more fun making music. We're more likely to finish the songs, and we're more likely to really instill something magical within those songs that we write, because great art is written from like our inner artist, not from our inner manager telling us what to do. Does that make sense to people? Awesome. All right, I know there's so many people. Out of the 6 hands, does anyone burning to share something? Like, give me a thumbs up if you're like, okay, Nelson, with the quick hands up, let's go, talk to me.
Hi, what's up, everyone? Justin, before anything, again, thank you for this entire weekend. It's the best way I can describe it. It has been absolutely everything to me. Just to give everyone perspective, rookie as can be, brand new, like just not knowing absolute jack shit squat, like just don't know. But I know for such a long time, music has been such a huge passion of mine that there was always an interest for so long. More perspective, I'm 28 years old. And for most of my life, I felt as though I had to abandon this dream of mine of being an artist, of musically, because there's a lack of confidence, a lack of self-worth. And I feel like that was driven from outside forces that, you know, not to give too much information now, but I just felt as though I just couldn't do it, right? And that I told myself, no, my life has to go down the route, the corporate route, get a degrees and stuff like that, studying. And that's stuff that I'm still doing. Like even right now, I'm going for my master's. And the best way I can describe it, you live your life so long to the point falsely where you just end up being so dramatically lost. You lose your sense of worth and you really do end up forgetting who are you? What am I supposed to be doing in this life? You know what I mean? And my headlights didn't start turning on until last year when I was just first introduced to the rave industry, the rave community, the house. I'm telling you, I don't know jack shit. I had no idea. I didn't know. It was so I was going through a bad piece of my life, and a friend reached out to me who goes to raves all the fucking time. She was like, "Hey, me and my friend, we're going to see John Summit at Atlantic City in the summer." I'm like, "I don't know who that is, but I'm there. I'm going." So I go, and it was a blast. I told my friends, I'm like, "Yo, this shit's hard. Like, keep me going, right?" So they're like, "Okay, cool. Let's take him to Elro in New York in last year." And I'll tell you from there, it was at Elro. I may have been under the influence of some substances, but it's fine. It was at that moment where I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I felt truly at peace. I felt happy. And then the repeating question from last year. Okay, well, you now know what you want to do. How are you going to make it happen? And then, Justin, I'll be so honest with you. Like I said, I'm brand new to this. Like I had no idea you made music. I had no idea you even existed. But I just saw on Instagram on the algorithm, it just popped up your call with Miha recently. It just popped up. I was like, well, I believe in spirituality and the universe works for you, and the universe is going to bring you opportunities for things that you want to do. So I saw there's an opportunity. I'm like, you know what, let me hop in the call. Then you talked about this weekend. I was just like, yes, 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 yes. The universe is calling, and I'm all for it because I just want to go and get this shit started. So in this call or in this weekend where you just broke it down how to make a song, and I was like, my answers or my prayers have been answered because I have songs. I'm a poet, I'm an artist, I'm a painter, like name the whole 9 yards. I've always hear songs in my head, but I never knew how to put them into paper or into Ableton in this case. So because of this weekend, I finally have a grasp. And this entire time when I was making my song, it was only 58 seconds, but starting out, I'm just like, yo, this is just the beginning. I'm ready to go. Let's fucking go. I'm here.
Let's go.
I'm ready to go in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, again, thank you for everything. And this is just the beginning of a journey. Like obviously it's been a long journey, but this is just the start. And I'm just so excited to keep going from here.
Oh, Nelson, that was so epic, dude. Thank you so much for hopping on the mic and walking us through your journey. I mean, it's really interesting hearing you speak about falling in love with dance music like that, you know, like,
oh my God, it was
like,
crazy.
I don't know, whether it was a year ago or like a decade ago, like, give me a thumbs up if you can relate to what he said about like being on the dance floor and having that moment where like the music hits you and it's just like life-changing, you know? And I think that's what's so crazy about this. Like, you know, rave music, dance music, you know, DJs, like it can seem like a party and it's fun. But as humans, the reason why we're so drawn to music can be so deep and it can be so nourishing for our spirit, our soul, you know, on such a, you know, it's like such a mind-blowing level of depth, you know. And it was wild to Nelson to hear you talk about your journey, you know, to hear that you were going through a rough time and how it sounded like going to some of these shows really, it hit really deep for you.
Changed my life 100%, to the point where I'm feeling healed, like fully. And now like I'm really embracing that energy. And you said it earlier where like I just want to make music to make people dance because I felt that when I was dancing. And I know everybody's going through the same shit. And music is just so powerful that I just want to do the same thing.
100%. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. And it's crazy because like, I don't know, I feel like yeah, Nelson, what you just laid out for us, I feel like that is what art at its deepest level is all about, you know, like how you as a fan can experience that magic and that healing power to, you know, like, dude, that's like, you could not be more qualified as an artist, you know, like if you felt that, and I feel like that goes for anyone here who's had a powerful moment of like falling in love with music as a fan, like pretty much if you make music, that level of magic is now just in your DNA and you just got to let it happen. You know, and the power that it can have. And it's like, dude, you know, like Nelson, you know, like it's just crazy because if you make a song and one person out there feels like 1%
And the
of
job
what
done.
you felt, like that'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, I feel like your story alone, I feel like is just so inspiring to go from like, wasn't even listening to dance music a year ago. Here you
Nothing.
are now. and you
Absolutely
got-
jack shit. I had
you
no
got-
idea.
And now you got your first, like, I don't know what you said, 59 seconds of track bounced, ready for the world. Like, let's fucking go. That's
We're in
amazing.
it. We're ready to
dude.
go.
And it's like, it's just crazy because I feel like this is like what's just insane. It's like, it's incalculable to calculate what's possible because you went from
Absolutely.
0 seconds for, you know, you said you're 28, like 28 years, you're at 0 seconds of music recorded. And now you went from 0 to 1, like that's like an infinite percentage increase, you know, like it's insane. Like to hear all this, dude, I'm just so fired up. And one other thing that I think is really interesting, it's so crazy to hear that you went to the Miha call because I actually mentioned this sort of like story on that call that really came to my mind for you as well, where it's like the story of the Golden Buddha. I don't know if you were there for that, but for those that missed it, long story short, it's, you know, there was this village that had a beautiful Golden Buddha statue. The villagers got word that an invading army was coming, so they covered up the Golden Buddha statue with mud and dirt to disguise it. The army comes, the villagers leave, but the Golden Buddha remains untouched because it just looks like a pile of shit. Unfortunately, all the villagers, they forget that there's gold underneath this Buddha, and many, many years pass with this Golden Buddha going completely uncovered, and everyone just forgets that it's magical and golden on the inside. And then one day, years later, there's an earthquake and it fucks everything up, but it breaks off a piece of the dirt and some of the gold begins to shine through. And that is the beginning of this journey of like all the villagers then realizing, oh wait, there's gold under here. And they begin to like uncover it and bring back all that gold. And so sometimes it's like there can be that earthquake, that period of negativity, or that big change. Maybe that's just unexpected. That can be the big sort of like initiator for something really positive. And I think whatever that metaphor can be applied in so many different ways, but I think another way that each and every one of us, I'm sure, can relate to is like, you know, when we're like 4 years old, you know, 3 years old, when we're just like a little toddler, like little babies, they're not afraid of anything. They're not self-conscious. Like I was literally on an airplane a day or two ago, and for like maybe 20 minutes, this baby, it wasn't crying, it was singing. And it was just like, la, la. And it's like, bro, how crazy would you need to be like an adult and just sing on an airplane? like superhuman confidence to be able to do that, you know? And it's like, you know, I feel like there's something so beautiful about like that childlike wonder and innocence and fearlessness that all gets covered up as we grow up and we're taught like, no, don't embarrass yourself. Don't hurt yourself. You know, sometimes it's like, you got to protect yourself, and that dirt, like the Buddha, can be like armor, you know, don't step out of line here because bad things might happen, you know? So we get this armor that covers us to protect ourselves. And then sometimes, you know, then there can be a point where you begin to peel back all that armor to reconnect with the magic and the, you know, that golden energy. So Nelson, you're fucking killing it, dude. I'm so hyped. Yo, can everyone
Thank you.
unmute and make some noise for Nelson? Like
Oh my
that
goodness.
journey, that's so inspiring.
Nelson.
Okay,
let's
Nelson.
go.
Let's
Keep it
go.
going.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
So beautiful. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, that's crazy, crazy. And I mean, like, look, I feel like it's insane what everyone here is doing, you know, like when you like all of the fear and judgment that can show up when we just like open up a computer program and start making little bleeps and clicking little dots, like it's a bit comical, but it's also so real how much fear there can be, how much self-judgment there is. And I just feel like on a kind of like bigger spiritual level, I feel like, you know, I feel like this really is something that like there is so much value in the world for like each of us as people to like really just confront our self-judgment and insecurities and to push past them, because I feel like, you know, the more positive energy we each have as people, you know, internally, how we treat ourselves, I just feel like that spreads, you know. And my hope is that no matter what happens with your music, that like you can bring some of this, you know, fearlessness and courage and you know, patience with yourself and pass it along to other people. And whether that's, you know, helping a friend who's trying to make music or, you know, anything, right? Like we all, no matter what it is in life, we all grapple with these same exact mechanics, self-judgment and, you know, vulnerability. Anyways, so inspiring. There's a couple more things that I want to do and then we'll do Q&A, but you know, just as like a recap, I think, you know, I think one of the themes for this weekend is like just saying, fuck it, let's have some fun and make some music. There is an endless journey of stuff to learn in terms of techniques and sounds and shit, but at the end of the day, none of it is essential. None of it is required. And the reality is like Ellie, you know, the song that you described of like your very first track, where it was like you didn't know what you were doing and then it slowly came together as it progressed. Like I haven't heard the song, but what you just described, like that sounds like it would be an interesting piece for like an art gallery, you know, like there is something kind of like artistically fascinating to me about even just your description alone. And I think the craziest thing is like there are no rules to what makes a song done. Like there's not, like it's completely arbitrary. And you know, like that example I played on Friday of like old school house producers who would literally press tracks to vinyl that were just drum beats and nothing else. And it's like, dude, if you're pressing a vinyl record, you can only put like 4 tracks on the record. Like there's only so many minutes that you have. And for these artists to be like, nah, we got to put this drum track on here. This is like super important, even if it's just drums. Like there's, you know, amazing artists who do like ambient music and it's literally just sounds like they're like washing machine for like 10 minutes. And it's like, that could be in a museum art gallery in Berlin and could be like the coolest thing ever. Like there's just no fucking rules. And I feel like the best way to discover that your song is done is to do a couple things. Export it so that you can easily share the song and then share the song to other people. And I feel like that process is so essential because it's through that process that you can begin to learn what you're already doing right. And if you can DJ, that's huge, because when you can DJ your song, you might realize this song's done, this is ready to go, or you might learn things that you want to change. But really, my whole philosophy is just like, we got to move through the process of making songs, starting loops, stretching them out into like a full song structure, mixing, mastering, even if that just means throwing a limiter on the master and maybe adjusting some volume, moving through that entire process over and over again, because the more we do it, the more that we're going to develop each of these individual skills within each step, and then also just stack experience making more songs. And when you have a lot of songs, some of them statistically are going to start to really click and resonate with people in ways that you might not predict. So I hope, you know, we'll have time for Q&A, but I hope that wherever you're at, whether you're just beginning or maybe you're more experienced, that you can see what this journey looks like. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Okay, cool. And I mean, it's just crazy because like we really do have all the tools that we need. You know, my hope for every single one of you here is that like, if you're here on this call and we've been talking for almost 2 hours, you obviously love this. I really hope connect with each other, keep on creating and just keep on doing it. Because like, if you can do this, it's like, it's game over. Like learning how to make a great song is so doable. And in terms of learning, it's like an endless rabbit hole, but that, I feel like that to me is only fun because that means this shit never needs to get boring and it never needs to get old. And I think that's a good way to think about it. Like I've been releasing music professionally, like on labels and stuff for over 10 years, making music for longer than that. And I feel like right now I'm having the most fun I've ever had. And I feel like that is not always the case. There's ups and downs, but there's a large chunk of my time as an artist has been like, oh man, I'm having the most fun I've ever had because I'm discovering something new and chasing something new and trying something new, learning something new. And for me, that's just like a lifelong thing. So give me a thumbs up if you're going to keep on making music and feel inspired to keep it going. Amazing, amazing. Some of you, so yeah, like that's my biggest goal for this weekend is like, dude, to hear like this weekend for me, just want to thank each and every one of you so much because like to hear like, you know, Nelson, Ellie, Bailey, etc. You know, talk about, you know, Kai, talk about these experiences. It's like, it's so inspiring and meaningful to me. And just like, this is like Nelson, with what you said about like that feeling of like things not going perfectly in life and then finding that healing quality within music, even just on the dance floor, like that is 100% why I'm here, like why I love music so much as a fan, go to shows like just for the love of being on the dance floor. And for me, creating art is just such an extension of that. So for wherever people are at, I hope that you feel inspired to continue and keep on crushing it, keep on making music. Some of you have also heard me mention the boot camp thing that I do, which I'm also super excited about. It's really fun. Cool if I tell you guys a little bit about the boot camp thing that I do real quick. So this class, I do teach like this one music class once a year. I make some time for it. It's not necessarily something that I'd recommend for every single person here. And that's why I do love like this type of weekend, because no matter where you're at, it's like fucking, we can all bust open the 909, make some music, make a track that could get played out, signed, etc. The class that I do, it's 6 weeks long, 4 weeks focused on music, 2 weeks focused on the industry side of things. And there is no requirement for skill level. I normally split the class up between people who are, you know, brand new or more, you know, earlier on their journeys and then more experienced. Skill level is not a requirement. All that is required is people who are hungry to dive in deep and put in the time to make music. And that's it. That's it. Just that desire and that time. Because as long as you can make some time for this, it's game over. It's absolutely game over. And I know a lot of people, myself included, like can sometimes let time go to waste when we don't have external deadlines. And the way that I do this class, it's like once a week, I lay out a challenge for people and give people some tools to use. And then once a week, we get into smaller groups and review the tracks. actually have people open their projects and help people with the tweaks that can make a difference from taking a track from 70% to 90% or 99% to 100%, and literally like, what are those tweaks? What are those like 3 or 4 little, you know, suggestions that will make the track ready to play? And we do 4 weeks of that. And each week it's all about, most importantly, just having fun. That's all I actually care about. Like, let's just have some fun, like, because that's why we're here. And then also keeping it simple, because if we overcomplicate things, we're more likely to get stuck. We're less likely to know what the problem is. But if we keep it simple, we'll actually really sharpen our skills so that we can make a bunch of great songs and learn what's working. How can we then keep those, you know, just keep on growing essentially. But that's the class. It's super fun, and it starts in 2 weeks. And it's been surreal because there's been so many people who've applied and signed up already, that yeah, it's filled up every year. But this year it's like crazy how it's like normally I don't have anyone sign up yet, and this year I think it's like halfway full. Please apply ASAP if you want to get in the mix, because it's it will definitely fill up again. But this year, what I want to do is, for everyone who signed up early, next week, a week from tomorrow, I want to do like a bonus session that I'll kind of email people about. So just to kind of get that you know, sort of like knowledge and info kind of jump started, and especially for people who are on the newer side of things. So Kate, if you could drop the link for anyone who's curious to apply. There's the link. Happy to answer questions about it, because I feel like I probably didn't explain everything super well. But really fun. And I would say my favorite part about the class is, you know, like this opportunity to be able to have like, you know, 100 people on Zoom for 2 hours is insane. To be able to go deeper with, you know, to spend just like a bunch of time with a smaller squad where we can really get to know each other, and, you know, not just me and you, but also like for people within the class to get to know each other and really connect, really have, you know, opportunities to, yeah, just like connect even deeper. It's just so much fun. And to be in a group where like you're literally surrounded by people who are like just fully bringing everything they got to making music. It's so inspiring. And maybe one last thing that I'll say, I know I mentioned you need the time, but the crazy thing is you don't need that much time. That's like the coolest part. Like one year we had there's an artist named Wolf Stacks. His name's Aaron, and dude, he had like the craziest work schedule where he was doing electrical contract work, and he would have to like, he would get home from his job at like midnight and would need to be in bed by like 4 in the morning to wake up at like 8 in the morning. And he would like have like pretty much 2 hours to make songs, and he would make like 4 songs in 2 hours. And like some of those tracks then like got signed to like labels and stuff like that. Like it's just crazy what can happen when you're actually just not giving a fuck, not overthinking things, not overcomplicating the process, and maybe have a little bit of an external deadline where you're like, fuck, I gotta get this in. It's just crazy. So I wanted to mention that just because you know, I don't think it's not like you need to devote 10 hours a day, 7 days a week to this. It's actually like, if you have 1 hour free, can you make the very most of that 1 hour? And yeah, if you really step outside of your self-judgment, it's crazy what can happen. So, but yeah, like I said, class aside, I will definitely be doing more things like this as well. Always trying to do more like lectures and bring in guests, because it's just so much fun. And I don't want anyone to feel like they need to be a part of like a more intense experience. You certainly do not. And I hope that each and every one of you, wherever you're at in your journey, that like this is like the jump off point or like a refresh, a restart to like have fun, make music, and spread that positivity out into the world, you know? I feel like that's why we're all here. So thank you all so much. I'm down to hang out for, I actually have like a whole hour that I've like scheduled to like hang out here and just answer questions. Like we can go as deep as you guys want. We can go as, you know, the most basic question, like no dumb questions. I might just ask for 5 minutes to grab a drink of water and like break. Let's do 10 minutes. Let's do, it's 5:02 p.m. We'll come back 10 minutes after. So just give everyone a break, recharge a little bit, and think about questions. I'm down to open up Babelton. We can get technical. If you have questions about sending music to labels and you know, sending tracks to DJs, that sort of thing, super happy to chat about that too. So just super open-ended. Does that sound cool with everyone? Okay, amazing. Love you all so much. For anyone who has to leave, farewell. Thank you for sticking around. But for the rest of the crew, I'll see y'all at 10 past the hour, 5:10 Eastern, whatever time zone you're in. So cool?
Sick ass food, Justin.
All right, much love. All right, I'll see you guys in a sec.
I just
Oh,
want to
howdy,
say,
everyone.
dude, one of
what's
my
up? How's it going?
one of my favorite videos in the world on the internet is you finding out you're gonna open for Fred again. And like you just go, my tummy hurts. And I felt that
Yes,
to the
dude.
deepest part of my soul. I think that was like so awesome.
Oh man,
Uh,
dude, it's just funny, like the emotions that come back, even just thinking about that moment, dude, is so crazy. I appreciate it.
yeah. No, congrats, dude. I remember like even playing my first party for like a couple friends, and I was like deathly anxious, but I also realized like when you play music in front of people, you actually hear it very differently, whether it's your song or your mix when you're playing it at the place. It's like I think of it like a comedian that just writes jokes at home. He can be funny, but he's not really a comedian unless he plays, and he gets to hear his jokes in a different way when he says it to people. So it's the same thing with music.
100%, Joseph, could not agree more. And I mean, it's crazy, like everything that I was talking about, how like when it comes to these issues of like vulnerability, self-judgment, insecurities and whatnot, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, you mentioning that Fred again example, that was totally a moment of like, you know, it's probably not too different how I felt when I was about to DJ my very first show. And I was like, this is like going to be so scary. Am I ready for this? Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? And then to be like, you know, Fred again, yo, do you want to play this arena in 2 days? And me being like, you know, it's like the
Yeah.
same, that's what it looks like when it's like, you know, you go to the gym, you get stronger, but then the weights get heavier. And it's so cool though, because I think on the other side of whatever scares you is like the most satisfying fulfillment and sense of like victory.
It's like the hero's journey sort of thing.
Yes,
But
yes. Oh,
man, it's just the same thing with comedy though. It's like one of the only things in the world you do where you're performing in front of people and you're basically judged every 45 seconds to a minute 30, depending on how fast you're going between the jokes or the songs. It's kind of wild. So no, I can understand.
damn.
But thanks for talking, man. Appreciate it.
That's crazy. Oh man, yeah. Shout out those who do comedy. Yeah, Yosef, do you do comedy?
No, I'm just a big fan.
Okay, cool. Dude,
Yeah.
that seems so scary. Oh man, unreal. Dude, appreciate you. Appreciate you. All
Yeah.
right. Dude, let's open it up to questions. I feel like let's start with just I'm down to just you know, let put your hands up like electronically, like how Connor is doing, and let's see how far we can get. If I feel like there's a bunch, I might switch over to Zoom chat and have people comment. Yeah, but I just want to hear from you guys. Let's start there. Connor, how's it going, dude? Wait. Oh, Connor, did you have a question? Maybe not.
Oh, I said in all honesty, I'm so hungover right now. But
No, you're chilling.
Being here has been a highlight because I hopped in my little group sesh with my new friends. And when we did the round table, one of the first things that got brought up by our buddy Big Dom, he was just like, man, I'm starting to realize how important community is. And I was just like, you're so right. Uh, and I don't remember who was talking earlier. Maybe it was like Ellie about being emotional or Sarah. And I was like, I'm emotional too right now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's like the biggest adult lesson that I've learned in the past 5 or 6 years is that community is there for you when you're hungry, when you haven't slept, when you lose your house, when somebody dies, like when something bad happens to you, like community is there. And when something good happens, community is there. And community can, you know, keep you grounded and here and doing things and stable. And the fact that we even just like get to chat and be little humans like interacting with each other is so beautiful to me. So that's all I really wanted to share.
It's so beautiful. And I feel like that's what's so amazing about dance music, like even just being on the dance floor. Normally you're not alone. It's like, you know, I feel like it's just so beautiful how like we all can come together around this music to dance, feel that positivity, that community here. Like, I feel like make sure everyone, if you haven't, drop your Instagrams, connect with each other. Don't let the moment slip away. It's just so important to like, yeah, know that you do not need to be alone in life. And if you're here, you obviously have this insane passion for music and you're surrounded with a group of people who share that passion. Like, what more do you need to become friends? Like having this obsession, like especially, yeah, for me growing up, like none of my close friends liked the same kind of music that I did. And whenever I met people who did, I was like, no way, we should be friends. This is amazing. Connor, thank you for hopping in, highlighting the magic of community. And yeah, dude, I'm glad you're here. Let's go. Amazing. All right, let's keep it going. Elliot, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing really well. I'm like overwhelmed with like a lot of feelings right now just 'cause like uh I just got into EDM maybe like 4 or 6 months ago, and I've had like an aspiration to DJ like 3 months ago, and I finally bought a controller and was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it now. So far I've just been mixing songs together, trying to figure out record box. I don't know how to split my audio. I think it's my computer, but like I've been doing everything like just like hearing how it is and like everything. So I think a part of this journey is also like there's so much like music out there that like how can I just like stick to what I like or just even connect with other people and like what they're making. And I want to keep an open mind to different type of music styles and everything, but like house is like mostly where my heart is. And I actually
Yeah.
saw you for the first time at Escape, and like I was up close and everything, and like it was
No way.
yeah, and I regret it. I didn't take any videos because I was so scared of my phone getting like stolen because like it was my first rave ever. But you were
Mhm.
amazing, dude. Like you're
Oh,
so amazing.
uh,
And like I heard about this class through Instagram and everything, and even like my friends that know you, they're like, "No way! Like you're taking a class from him." I'm like, "Yes! Like this is so cool."
oh,
So like
mm,
I think my first like instincts were to like mix
Yes.
songs together just for
Here.
fun. And but like learning
Here,
how to
Lily.
make my own songs and my own beats, like it's pretty overwhelming. But like even trying to figure out like the last 2 hours before the class started, I was trying to make my beat and I couldn't figure it out. But like I still want to go back and like make it anyway, even if I couldn't submit anything. But like I guess
yeah,
my question is like, what advice would you give to someone that has like no musical background that's just like brand new to this? Like any resources that I can take? Because like I was trying to
yeah,
make a beat and like I couldn't differentiate like certain sounds and like not make it sound good. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. I'm so brand new to everything and I feel like So thank you to everyone who followed me on Instagram, by the way. Like, I'm so excited to connect with you all and like just like share what we're making and everything. Like, this is so important. Like, I've been seeking community like for this and everything because I just have my small group of friends and like that's it,
Mhm.
you know? So, yeah, it's just been amazing. But like everything that I've been putting out, like just little snippets, or I actually made like a full song that was like okay, but like my friends loved it, and like even my friend, like my best
Yes.
friend, yeah, my best friend was like, yeah, I heard it 3 times, one at home, one at going to work, and one like, and I was like, you listen repeatedly to the song I mixed? Like that's so great. Like it was
Let's
so
go.
good. Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Thank you so
it's
much for
crazy.
this. Yeah.
And like, okay, your friend who listened to your song 3 times, like, like, there's no question that brought that friend some joy, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, imagine if you didn't make that song and didn't send it to
Yeah.
them. Like,
Yeah.
there'd be like a little slice of joy that would not have shown up in that person's life, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, that's what's so beautiful about this, because it's like, dude, you discovered EDM like a few months ago, and now you're sending your first track out to someone. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's so epic and inspiring. And it's like, I just hope you can see, like, dude, you're amazing. Like, that's so just crazy. In
Thank
terms
you.
of, yeah, of course. And in terms of your questions, such a good question. And the craziest thing, Elliot, is like, I feel like a lot of the advice that I have for you would also be useful for people who might be way ahead of you as well. Like, for people who are like more experienced. I feel like that's like what's so interesting is like a lot of the principles that are going to be the most useful will be useful no matter where you're at in your journey, And I'd
Yeah.
say like the biggest one that comes to my mind is, on brand with what we've been talking about, is finding community. The fact that like you're
Yeah.
actually already doing a bunch of the things that I'd recommend, but I want to highlight them so that way you can like realize to keep doing them. Like, even among your homies who you went to that show with, and that you're already sharing, the fact that you're already sharing your music with your friends is like an incredible, like, that is like an essential, you need that. Like, you really do need
Yeah.
people around you to share with, whether they are knowledgeable or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so important. That resonates with you.
Yeah, it does. Cause like just me making like random stuff and like putting stuff together. Like I listen to I made a mix of All Day All Night and Don't Kill the Vibe. And
Mhm,
I listened to Don't Kill the Vibe like literally that day that I made that mix, and I was like, I
mhm.
need to mix this chorus with something. And then I found All Day All
Yeah.
Night and it just like moved in together. And just
Oh,
hearing my friends like being like, you have like an ear for music, like it was so good, and like just them talking like my friends were saying how they were talking about me, like just like a normal conversation on how well I'm doing, and I've only been doing it
mhm.
for a week, so I'm just like, I,
Yes.
I, and it's so good because like honestly, if I could get personal, like I felt like I've never been good at anything in my life. I'm 30,
Mhm,
and like
mhm.
I just reached into something. I've always loved music, but I never figured out like how I can relate to that because I don't see myself as a musician. But like now that I'm doing this, it's like, holy shit, could I be a musician? Like this is like really, really cool, you know? So it's just really fulfilling and like I relate to everyone how like EDM just brings us together and makes us so happy and like going to raves and like sharing like, you know, just love for each other. Like it's so great and I really found like community in this and I'm just like so grateful for everything.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Elliot. Really appreciate you sharing. And
Yeah.
you know, it's like, yeah, just to ask you, like, have you felt that moment as a fan on the dance floor where you were like, oh my God, this music is like healing and magical? Like, have you felt
Yes,
that before?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like especially
I,
because I
I,
saw
I
Sun. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I saw San Pacho on Friday, and it was just
Uh-huh.
like the greatest thing ever. And it was two DJs before, and they're doing a B2B, but they mixed Riz by Abo or Abo. I don't know how to say
Hmm.
it. But with
Uh-huh.
Guest from Charlie XCX, and it was just the most like mind-blowing thing ever. And I was like, I need to recreate this. Like, I need to I need to
Let's
do
go.
that. Yeah. So it's just like just it just blows my mind every time and like it's great.
So it's like, you know, I just want everyone to acknowledge this moment right here. Like, Elliot, you having felt that magic yourself on the dance floor, and now having like made mixes and have like, you know, worked on music, it's like you are an artist. Like you are fully an artist, and you might be a few months into your journey of listening to dance music, but it doesn't matter. You know, like you've been around for, you know, your entire life, building experiences and stacking emotion, and obviously have things to say. It's like you're doing the damn thing, and it's like you are fully an artist at that point of like just doing it. You know, so like the fact that you pulled the trigger is that you like, you got the equipment, you hung out in the Zoom hang, you downloaded the program. It's like, that's all it is. And then it's just a matter of like, don't stop, find community, which you already have, and just, you know, never be afraid to like expand that and, you know, deepen that connection, you know, like to have friends that you go to see shows with and share that love for music with. It's like, that is what it's all about. And then like, at the very least, like with all the ways that you can continue to develop, like, I feel like friends and then YouTube is like a pretty insane combination. So yeah, you know, just know, like, I think this is really important. If you ever have a friend or someone around you who is trying to say like, oh, Ellie, you don't know shit, dude, you've only been here for like a few months, or like, you know, oh, you've only been producing music for a year, or whatever it is, like anyone who gives you that sort of energy, very important not to take it to heart, because I often feel like that energy can be like insecurity projected, you know, someone else being insecure that like, maybe Elliot's only been doing this for a week, but he's blowing me out of the water. And like that person might be like, no, well, do you even know about how to use like a multi-band compressor? And it's like, bro, like, doesn't matter if you know what that is or not. Like,
see, I don't even know what that is. Like,
yeah, and it's like, dude, it's like I'm like none of these little tools or like technical things are intrinsically important to making a great song. And so just like, I feel like often I actually really love getting to meet people who are just like brand new to everything and are just starting, because like, I think there's actually so much beauty in not knowing what's happening and just like completely making music for the joy, off of instinct, without so much knowledge. And I actually feel like my advice is normally like for people who are more experienced, trying to figure out how we can get back to that place of like that beginner's mindset where you don't know you don't know everything. You're just like creating off of instinct. So yeah, man, you're doing it. I hope do you feel inspired to keep it going and keep on mixing, keep on making music?
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to tell my friends that I talked to you.
Let's go. I can't believe you were at Beyond Wonderland. And it's funny. So the show that Elliot saw me at was a big festival in Southern California, but it was also during I did my first Boiler Room, which was like fully recorded and stuff. And it's funny, most of that set was my own like songs or remixes. And some of those tracks I made almost just as simply as what we did on this weekend's like 909 challenge, you know. So you just don't need to be super crazy with the technical stuff. And I just mentioned it because like, yeah, that was like another moment where like, to me, doing like my first Boiler Room, that was like really scary. I was like, oh my God, I hope I do okay.
You killed
you know,
it.
worked
You
hard.
fucking killed it.
Oh, I really appreciate it. It was so fun. The energy there was electric.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, dude, Elliot, I hope to see you again in person and relish in the glory of from Boiler Room to Zoom. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for like your like support, and like I'll drop my Instagram again. But thank you for everything. Truly.
Amazing. Amazing. Awesome, dude. Much love. All right, let's keep it going. And by the way, in terms of questions, just want to reiterate, you can ask me about anything. Super open book here, and down to chat about whatever would be of interest to you. And let's get through these four homies, and then we'll open it up to questions in the Zoom chat as well. So let's keep it going. All right, Mateo, how you doing?
Oh, hey, nice to meet you.
Likewise, dude.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm from Italy, but actually, I just spent the last 7 years in San Francisco. I'm just back to my home country. And yeah, I've been to your EDC set instead, and it was amazing.
No way. Oh.
In fact, we were on behind the stage.
Let's go. Oh, that's
my
awesome.
girlfriend was like, "Wow, look at that! I think we can get on the back of the stage." It was open. It was amazing. Yeah, I've been listening to electronic music for a long time, and like at various points, I started like a little bit with a controller trying to DJ, and then I bought Ableton and I started making loops, but never got out of the loops. And then eventually like 2020 happened and I was like, okay, I'm getting a course. And by the end of the year, I had my first track. But yeah, now there's like, I want to make more music. And yeah, as far as my question goes,
yeah,
maybe, well, I guess I'll go a little technical. But I'm always afraid of like wasting people time. And so
yeah,
one of the things that's holding me back for like sending a track out to maybe a label or a DJ is more about what is like the minimum things that I need to make sure I have to make sure that at least I'm not really wasting people's time. And things I'm thinking is like, how do I know if the levels are right? Do I need to check the LUFS? And do they need to be at some point specific, or is like there's nothing, you need to just like make it as it sounds good and then it's fine?
Yeah, totally. So, okay, great question. Is anyone else curious about like sending tracks to labels or DJs? Give me a thumbs up if you are, because I feel like I'm sure many of you are. Let's talk about it. So, dude, yeah, Mateo. Also, dude, thanks for staying up so late. What city are you in? I'm just curious, in Italy.
My city is called Brescia.
Brescia,
We are in the
cool.
north. We're in the
Amazing.
north, 1 hour from Milan.
Sick. Dude, I played my first Italy show ever earlier this year. It was in it was outside of Bologna, and it was just amazing. So much fun. But all right, let's talk. I want to answer your question. So let's talk about mastering real quick, because I think you mentioned levels, LUFS. Let me see if I have any tracks that are not mastered. Okay, cool. So here, let's do this one. So this track is not mastered, which means that when you make a song in Ableton, if you want to create like a pre-master and have a mastering engineer master your song, pretty much all you need is for your song to be a little quiet. It sounds so funny, but here, let's see, Zoom. Can you guys tell me, give me a thumbs up if you can hear my Ableton. Okay. Can you guys hear my Ableton? Okay. So amazing. So here, and I'll pull up the visualizer just so you can see, because I think the visual helps so much. Millimeters. Okay, so this track right here, it's a pre-master. If we put it in Serato or Rekordbox, this is what it's going to look like. Wait, hold on. Where's my shit? Here is Serato. And let's just drag it in. Okay, so Mateo, can you see how the waveform looks a bit small here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Versus, you know, something like this. See how this is like a big waveform, right? You see that difference? So the bigger the waveform, the more volume. So this pre-master, all it means is the track is quiet and that there's no like compression or essentially processing on the master of the track. And to master the track in terms of, for me, this is like what's important for if I'm working on a song and I want to send it out or DJ it myself, this sounds like a joke, like painfully simple, but all I will do at the very least, the only thing that's like essential is to put a limiter on the master. This plugin is just to show this like visual. But I'll take the track and increase the input on the limiter until the gain reduction, or GR, is between 6 and 12 generally. Let's give that a shot. You need to play the song at a section where all the instruments are playing. All right, cool. So I just had to turn it up a bunch, and this limiter is now hitting, you know, for the most part, closer to -6, but going a little past it. This is kind of where I would like to see it, and I'll bounce it down. And here, let's just do desktop, and this will be test bounce 1. Excuse me. All right, and it's bouncing. And now let's look at the waveform. And now you can see that it's a bit bigger, right? It's this much bigger than this, right? This is kind of like not hitting the top and bottom. Now this is like nice and full, ready to send.
Awesome.
That's the, and you know, like it's so fucking crazy, dude. A few years ago, I did this EP that was in collaboration with a big house artist named Claude Von Stroke. I'm just curious, give me a thumbs up if you know who Claude Von Stroke is. Some people do. Awesome. That makes me happy. So we did a collab EP together, 4 tracks. And he was like, Justin, I've gotten the most amazing mastering engineer who requires 3 months to master the tracks. So he's like, we're going to use this really fancy guy. And I'm like, sweet. We wait 3 months, and he uses all this hardware and analog gear. And at the end of it, Claude Von Stroke is like, Justin, actually like your self-masters more. Could we use your self-masters for 2 of the tracks? And literally what I just showed you is what I did. And I forget which tracks exactly it was, but the release, I'll link it in the chat. It's called, the EP, it's called O. And here, where is it? Okay, got it. Yeah, I'll drop it in the Zoom chat, meeting group chat. Okay, but yeah, so for anyone who's like curious, yeah, just as a reference point. All that you need to worry about is that your song be like loud enough. And if your song is kind of hitting roughly where I told you, you know, it should be fine. And it's like at least a very good starting point. I never look at LUFS and more technical things. Some people do, but yeah, I like for those that DJ, you know, give me a thumbs up if you DJ and you use like Rekordbox and are used to seeing tracks in Rekordbox. So I love to look at the waveforms in Rekordbox, and it's like, look at the waveforms of tracks that you love to play and tracks that feel really good when you play them, and just start getting those kind of into your brain, you know, and when you are bouncing a track, you can switch between the track you know and your own, and that one knob on the master limiter will change the shape and the size in a bit that can hopefully help you get it closer to their song, even just with one knob. Does that make sense? So yeah, so that's like the technical side. And then in terms of the logistics side, the key to getting, I hope every single person here gets lots of songs signed and songs played by sick DJs. The most important thing logistically is simply to send as many songs to as many people as possible, because it's just a numbers game. You know, you can't predict which song someone is going to like. If you send one song to one person, you know, that's great. That's a huge victory to send anything. But if you send 10 songs to one person and they listen to the first one, and they don't love it, but they might like the second song or the third song or the fourth song. And especially if your songs have a variety and a range, if you send 10 songs and they're all like pretty much the exact same song and style and vibe, they're probably not even going to listen to the 9th song. But if you as an artist are having fun and you're trying different things, that range hopefully will show up in your music. Like, it's so funny. Like, I just DJ'd with Bad Boombox in Amsterdam, and towards the end of the night, he was playing drum and bass. And Bad Boombox is not a drum and bass artist, but if you sent him tracks and you threw a drum and bass song in, there's a chance that that might be the song that he likes, even though on paper, that's not what you would expect. So it's just like, that I feel like is so important. The numbers game of sending lots of songs to lots of people. My favorite way to send tracks is to make a folder on Dropbox or a playlist on SoundCloud. If it's on SoundCloud, make sure everything's downloadable. And, to just pass one link with a bunch of stuff. If I'm messaging someone, I try to keep the message really short. And then patience, assume that a lot of people might not listen, and to never take the feedback personally. Like, if someone doesn't respond, it's possible they just never listened. Like, a lot of DJs, myself included, we travel so much. I'm not the best on messages. I think I have 464 unread text messages on my phone right now. My email inbox is even worse. It's like, I'm just not the best at catching every message. And many DJs who travel a lot are also the same. So if you don't hear back, it's possible they just didn't listen, and just keep on sending music to friends as well to get, if you have a friend who DJs, that's a great person to send tracks, because even if they're just DJing in a bar or something like that, that's if it's working there, that's like a really good start. And I think that's just part of the process. So Mateo, do you feel like did I answer your question okay?
Yeah, that was very, very good answer.
Sweet.
And encouraging too. Yeah.
Amazing. Give me a thumbs up if you're going to send some tracks to someone. Everyone who's going to send some music out to people. Fucking do it. Amazing. Great. That's the hardest part, is the fear. Like, everyone's sent an email before. But it's vulnerable, but you just got to do it. You just got to do it. And then it gets easier and you just do it more and more. And that's just the process. Okay. All right, let's keep on going back to questions. Jonah, how's everything going?
How's it going? First of all, I'd just like to say thank you for taking the time to like stay after and do this. This is crazy.
Of course. So
yeah, so just like cutting to the chase, I guess. I'm in a really interesting spot right now. So I actually just graduated school. I was at Syracuse. I started producing while I was there. I got really into house music with a bunch of other friends. I've always loved music. I've played instruments since I was a kid. And last year really started like really, really deep diving into Ableton, spending like you know how it goes, like spending like 6 to 8 hours a day, just like nose deep in a track. I'm at a point right now where I'm like unemployed, trying to find a job, balancing what everyone calls like the safe route, going for like a marketing position. I really want music to be what I end up doing, but as I'm sure having gone through all the steps, getting actually to a point where it's like doable, I guess, or I don't know, I guess, yeah, I'll ride with that.
Yeah.
Can be extremely difficult. I was wondering like what your advice would be with that, as a producer, as someone who's wanted to get active on like the community side, like you're doing now. Yeah. What would your advice be?
Yeah,
to someone like
totally. 100%. So I'd say the coolest thing about being an artist is there's no defined path, which can be really intimidating and leave you feeling lost. But I think the cool thing is like whatever path you end up choosing could be a viable path to like realizing this dream. Like there's no rules. I've seen so many artists go from having crazy full-time jobs to then becoming full-time artists. So getting a job does not mean like that this journey or dream is over. And I've seen other artists who like, you know, really try to grind it out. I would say if you're not going to take a class, like a normal job, if you're going to just like commit to music, I feel like it's very common to see people get multiple sources of income going, because to monetize being an artist can take a lot of time and be very inconsistent. And so, you know, like I've seen a lot of artists who start, like maybe they'll start by throwing parties because they have a lot of friends who are looking to go out. So, you know, I feel like that's like a very common thing that I've seen a lot of, you know, people in the music industry do straight out of college, because, you know, a lot of, you know, all your friends turn 23, they're out of college and they still want to party, but there's no longer college parties. So I've seen a bunch of people get into events straight out of college. But, you know, getting internships within other parts of music, you know, so that you can learn how things work from different sides of the industry, like record labels, booking agents, PR companies. Pretty much if you can get a job in any of those areas of music, even if it's like not exactly what you want to be doing, you'll be able to get more, you know, support yourself a little bit more and expand your, you know, sort of perspective on the industry as a whole. But I think one thing that is really important when it comes to music, I feel like it is kind of a superpower to be able to not be financially dependent on your art. And I think that is like a really powerful place to be if you're starting out, because, you know, music is just so weird where like if you're optimizing your decision making to make money in the short term, you might make decisions that don't align with what you want to be doing in the long term, and so they might not be the most helpful. Like a good example would be like, let's say the music you're really passionate about is like super underground techno, and the ways that you can start getting money more easily as a DJ would be like open format DJing. I know Gavin from Walker and Royce is an example who did that. He was like an open format DJ, and so the same skill set was able to like bring him some money, but it helped him in some ways with like his skill development. But for the most part, it was like, you know, it was not like directly useful for helping build his career in the direction that he wanted to go. So I feel like, you know, I would say my experience with making music also, it's like, you do not need infinite amounts of time to get a career started. The busier the more the busier your career gets and the more money that you can make off your career, that's when you'll need more time. So I think there can actually be this balance where like the more money your career is generating, the more time you will need to spend working on it. I was very lucky where my career, I got my first track signed my first week of school, freshman year of college, which was crazy. And it took me about 3 years to be making enough money from touring where I could start paying my rent and cover all my like credit card expenses, which is really, you know, I definitely got very lucky. It was a different landscape though. Like TikTok didn't exist at all. Instagram was just starting. This is like 2011 was when I got my first track signed. But it did take a few years, but the whole time I was juggling school. So, you know, like school may be different than like a 9 to 5. But you know, I just feel like I do not think that if you're at square zero, you need to dedicate 1,000% of your time to becoming an artist and a DJ. Just because like, I don't know, I feel like a great song might take you an hour. And I think if you're juggling, you know, my hope is that if you're juggling some other parts of your life, that even if you're busy, when you finally have that hour free, that you're like so hyped to like finally make music and get after it, that you might even make more out of the time that you have. So but that being said, it's like every single person's path is different. I could list you so many different anecdotes of different artist journeys. They're all just different. So, you know, unfortunately, you will have to discover it for yourself, but whatever you do, that does not mean that you're shutting the door on this, like, on this path. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I've been trying to like balance, like, I've been trying to like find a route that will like lead to something fruitful. Like content has been going up, like, and it feels horrible to be like in that boat where you're like putting so much into content, but it's like at this point where it's like you have to do it. Or at least it
Yeah.
feels that way. Um,
Yeah.
and then that kind of combats like, okay, what's my image gonna be?
Yeah.
Like, how do I keep that? Like, I don't know. It's like a hard,
Yeah.
you know. But
It
yeah,
is.
I digress.
You know, and I think you raise another, this is almost like a separate question about like, I think what you're, I don't think you really asked it, but I think maybe what you're getting at is like, how do you balance the various aspects of developing a career? Like, do I spend my time working on music, spend my time creating content, spend my time trying to hustle gigs? Is that kind of something that's on your mind?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for that, there's definitely, once again, no path. I think in the short term, I mean, I feel like following what gives you the most joy as a starting point is really useful. Because like, if you're really loving making music, you actually can get away with avoiding content by just sending your music to DJs and labels and you know, self-releasing songs as well. Because pretty much content is like becomes exponentially more valuable when it's related to a song that you're doing. Or if you have, like, I think the real purpose of content, once you are a more established artist, can be to promote a song that you have coming up or to promote an event that you're about to DJ. So I feel like that's a good way to, that's one way that you can frame it if you want to be more strategic with your time on content. Be like, all right, I don't have a song or a gig coming up for a while, so I'm just going to focus on making music. And then, oh, I'm going to drop this bootleg on SoundCloud. Maybe I'll make a video or two for that bootleg. Then it's kind of like you're prioritizing the art first, and then using the content to like supplement it versus like getting lost in an endless sea of making videos that don't do anything and that are not fun. That being said, there are people out there who just double down completely on content and can make a career materialize. Bad Boombox is actually an example of that, where he was really just focusing on content and was able to establish himself first by building an audience of like meme videos and jokes, and then got deeper into production and did it in a different order. So it's like there's no formula, but I think, dude, making music fundamentally, you know, it's important to note, like, he loved making videos as well. Like, he was like a video kind of person. And, you know, he leaned into something that he actually enjoyed. So it's really about checking in on what makes you happy, what gives you like excitement, and, you know, making those priorities accordingly. Because if you prioritize things based on what gives you energy, then you will create a more sustainable path for yourself versus just getting burnt out because all of your energy is going to something that you hate doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Sorry, like maybe a question or two more really quick. So like, how do you recommend like reaching out to DJs? Because like right now I feel like the only way to do it's like DMs, and like half the time it's kind of like a dead end immediately. And then I'll just add the second one on so it's quick and like easy, because I don't want to take up too much time. But like, what's your opinion on like track stacks? And that's it.
Oh, cool. I've used track stacks maybe once because a DJ that I'm friends with was like, yo, can you send it to me through this? Or maybe it's some other platform, but some people use it. So like, I think like West End is someone who I think uses it. It's just like, shoot your shot if people are using it. And then to your other question about how to send music to DJs, great question. I'm sure other people here would be curious. Honestly, the most important thing to do is to first see if that person has a preference. Because sometimes, especially on SoundCloud, people will have like, or Instagram bios, people say like, send music here. So like, you always want to check that first, because if they're literally telling you how to send it to them, then send it the way they're asking. And that's a great start. I feel like if they don't have any emails or instructions, then sliding into the DMs is a great approach. Just know the bigger the artist, the more unlikely it is that you will get heard. But I actually got in the studio with Diplo by sliding into his DMs as a joke. And you know, like Diplo has like millions of followers, but my name popped up, you know, so it's like, and I've heard this happen from friends who were like, I had a friend who DM'd this incredible techno artist, Anfisa Letiago, if I'm pronouncing her name right. She has millions of followers. He doesn't have like a verified account or anything fancy, but he just sent like a heartfelt message that was short, concise, and had a link, and she ended up signing a track of his to her label. So yeah, it just becomes a numbers game. And also smaller artists, don't neglect them, you know, like you know, like if, let's say, just to throw a name out there, like let's say you're a fan of like John Summit, you know, it's like he might be someone who's probably not going to see every message he gets on Instagram, but you know, if you go to his like record label and see like all the smaller artists that are releasing on his label, like there's like dozens of people that are probably super reachable that, dude, if like, you know, Max Styler, Lucati, Ranger Trucko, like, you know, maybe people who are even smaller than those names, like are playing your song. And then, you know, that might open the door to being like, yo, maybe those people have a label. Maybe those people can give you advice for how to send to Experts Only, which is John's label, you know? So it's like, you know, but the most important thing is like to actually follow what is authentic to you. Cause like, dude, like look at your USB, like look at the music that you've downloaded, see which artists you're actually playing and supporting. Those are the people who you should be reaching out to start, you know, like, and if all of the people you're playing are big name artists, I'd be like, dude, there's probably a lot of amazing artists for you to discover, and a lot of great songs out there that you're gonna love. So, you know, look at your USB. If there's someone whose tracks you're playing or a big fan of, message that person, pass the love, because it's like, you said you went to Syracuse, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, dude, there might be some DJ in Berlin who like would freak out to hear that their music was being played at like an American university or like Syracuse. Like, you know, it's sick. It's cool to hear. Like, you know, that person who you think is super legit might also be like having a rough day and being like, oh man, Jonah's message, who is it? Like, he likes that song. I didn't know anyone would ever like that. You know, it's like, you never know. So being authentic, leaning into that, and then just the shotgun, shooting your shot. Is that helpful?
100%. Yeah.
Cool. Was that helpful for anyone else? Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, Justin. Thank you.
Of course,
You're the GOAT. Thank you
dude,
so much.
much love, dude. You got this. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Let's
it.
keep it rolling. Great questions. Xander, how's everything going with you?
What's up? I'm great. I feel like a lot of my burning questions have gotten answered by everybody, which is nice to know that we're all kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to feel like I'm not the only one, you know, up in my mind going crazy about stuff.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say like how impactful this was for me because I started producing probably like 6 months ago. I've been teaching myself. I've just been on YouTube and Googling everything that I can Google, and I oftentimes like find myself like overthinking and getting stuck in what I like to call plugin paralysis.
Yeah.
Just not knowing if I'm doing something the right way. because
Yeah.
still trying to like learn the technical side of things. I think I have the natural creativity like ability, but having to learn like a software and a program like adds another layer. And your like super simple method, like I got a little 2-minute song done in maybe an hour, hour and a half, where it's like
Mhm.
before then, I'm sitting and working on like an 8-bar loop for like 2 hours and my ears are bleeding. So
Yeah.
it's really just impactful to see like the simplicity that music can be approached. And I'm just really grateful for you and this weekend. So thank you.
Oh, Xander, really appreciate you, dude. And so stoked that you're on this journey. And yeah, it's crazy how simple shit can be. It's insane. And it like, I don't know. It's like it's something that I have this like endless fascination with. Like to be doing this for so long and to keep on realizing like, wait, you can do it even more simple than this. It's like
Yeah.
it's just so fun and just so awesome. And then everything that all those rabbit holes that I'm sure you're aware of, like those are great too, because they just keep on adding to like the adventure of it. But you just never need to be overwhelmed and you never need to get lost in the sauce, dude. It can always be super simple and super fun.
Yeah. So I guess one question does come to mind now that I kind of
Yeah.
rambled all that out. Once you kind of got like the basics, let's say I work with just doing what we did this weekend for the next 6 months, and I feel like, okay, I'm ready for a little bit more. What do you think would
Yeah.
be like the next layer to start developing in like the toolbox?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really good question. I mean, I feel like it's kind of similar to the question I answered earlier about like for Elliot. It's like the two rabbit holes to go down are just like community, like your friends, and then YouTube. Like obviously you can also like take formal classes, but like, you know, if you have friends who make music, I hope, well, if you don't, I hope you connect to some people
Yeah.
here. If you do, be like, learning from them, collaborate, get in the studio with people, even if it's someone who's not very experienced. Like some of my biggest songs have been made with people who like don't make music at all. Like one of my friends from middle school, like my closest homie growing up, he just has like dope tastes and knows cool music. And I was like, dude, let's make a track together. And he didn't
Nice.
know all the key commands, but he was like, yo, what about this? What about this? I was like, yeah, and it was just super fun. But so collaborating, learning from other people, and then YouTube, like, I feel like Julian Earl, I feel like does a lot of good basic YouTube videos for like
Yeah.
if you have a specific style or sound that you're into, you can watch one of those and get like a head start, and then then just mixing and matching different tutorials. Big fan of sampling. That's like another one. If there's an artist you look up to, you can even like message them and ask like, yo, dude, like, how'd you do that? Like sometimes people will answer. I feel like the basic units of like the basic units of how to do new things when it comes to making music are like sample packs, which will give you like new sounds, VSTs, which you can buy or like get presets of, and then technical tricks and stuff. So, and really it's like sample packs alone will get you so far. If they're like, dude, that's the case with like 99% of music out there, where it's like, oh, you want to learn how to make like this kind of music. Did you get that sample pack? That's what literally everyone's using. So yeah, I hope that helps. Reddit can be useful for finding what those sample packs are if your homies don't know. But yeah, community, YouTube, Reddit. I hope that breaks it down in ways that seem like a little bit less daunting or like unattainable.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
For sure. Yeah, and that's, you got to just take it all in bite size. I think that's the biggest thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I will say it was cool to see you bobbing your head to the little track that I made. So it's like, you know, it's just awesome. So yeah, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it.
Let's go, dude, of course. And yeah, like the infinite rabbit hole, like I feel like reframing it as like you don't need to know all this shit. It's just that's
Yeah.
what's going to be there to keep it really fun for the next like for literally the rest of your life if you wanted to be a part of it. So like, I mean, that's like what's so cool, like it's like imagine playing a video game that like just like has like endless like expansion packs. Like that's like
Mhm.
literally what music is to me. Like it's just amazing. But yeah, dude, Xander, I'm excited for you, and dude, appreciate the kind words, man. It's great to meet you.
Of course. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Sweet, awesome. Cody, dude, what a trip to see you, dude. I feel like it's
Yeah,
been
man.
so long since I've last ran into you.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. Just been writing a lot of music, I guess, and not going out as much, which is good.
Amazing, dude, amazing. Dude, yeah, how's it going? What's your question?
Great.
What's up?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about like starting a label or like running a label as like
Yeah.
my friends and I have like as we've started getting a lot of our productions like start having like close to 100 like projects like underway, and now like this weekend was like a really good test of like how quickly I could take a lot of those loops I have and just like get them to song length and stuff. And so I was wondering about like yeah, what it would like if there's anything you learned like starting a label or that like you wish you knew before you kind of were like getting into doing this stuff with Fantastic Voyage and stuff that I could that could benefit me as we're starting to kind of get that rolling.
Totally. Oh, dude, great question. Does anyone here uh share the same interest of maybe at some point wanting to start a label or like the idea of it? Okay, sweet, cool. Starting a label, it's just never been easier. It's just so easy and doable, and there's really kind of like if you have a bunch of music and need a way to put it out, like to do it yourself, there's really no reason not to do it. It's so easy. All you need for a record label is two things. You need a name and often like a logo. Like to set up a label account on Beatport, you just need like an image and a name, and then it will exist. So it's like, and your name, like you could self-release music just as Cody Hill if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to self-release stuff and didn't have the vision for like a whole record label, but it's just a name and an image, which could be the name spelled out in like Times New Roman font or whatever font you
Sure.
would like. So it just could not be easier. To do your first release, all you need is audio and artwork. So it's like that's really easy as well. Especially, dude, like now you could just like AI generate infinite artwork. So it's like that's really easy. You could just take a photo with your phone. Like artwork can be super, super easy too. In terms of like doing it more in a more like legit way, like a really good place to start with labels is also just like SoundCloud and Bandcamp, because like you can do that really easily. If you want to get your songs on Spotify, Beatport, etc., you'll need what's called a distributor. And there's many distributors that are really easy to work with, like TuneCore, DistroKid, CD Baby. And these distributors, they're essentially just like, you can like just put your song info in, put your artwork info in. Some of them will charge like a small fee, but the distributors will then, once you put your music through a distributor, the distributor gets it on the Spotify's, the Beatports, iTunes, Apple Music, etc. Yeah, I feel like there's so many. If you just like Google like what is a distributor on, there's so many like resources online to like get the basics of how to do that. So that's like the mechanics of get your song out. Then there's the issues of promotion. I would say like if you're just starting, the most basic, it's like crazy. Even at like a really high level, the best promotion these days, even the biggest labels, is often sending messages directly to people. sending like your music directly to artists that you fuck with, that's still like kind of the most effective way, and it's completely free to do. So like, you know, if you can send your music to DJs that you admire, that inspire you, and they start playing your song, like that's often going to be one of the best ways to like break through the noise. And you know, just like with I think it was Jonah's question, I would say like, don't just send music to the biggest people, send music to smaller people too. And as the more that you get that support, the more you can leverage it. You know, it's like maybe some smaller artist plays your song, and then you can tell like, yo, John Summit, dude, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, we're all playing the song. I think you might like it. And if he sees that message, he'd be like, oh, that's cool. And you know, you can build momentum that way. There are companies that you can hire for various services. They can be really expensive. I feel like, you know, it kind of starts to depend on what sort of style of music you're doing. But I think the best way to answer that question in a sentence without knowing anything about what you're inspired by is like, try to see if you can find out the labels that you're inspired by. If you can get in touch with like the artists and be like, yo, just curious, like love the label that you just released on. Are they doing DJ promo with anyone? You know, you can find out information that way. See, you know, some labels you can ask directly, but the DJ promo is like kind of the most basic thing for helping your song get into the hands of other artists. But I feel like, you know, in terms of promotion, then there's like making content, and that's back to doing stuff yourself. So yeah, I feel like that what makes a record label the most successful early on is finding really good community. So like, you know, a community of artists, community of people who like, you know, if you can throw a party together with a group of friends, like that's something that really helps. The coolest thing about a label is you can create something that's bigger than just yourself, but to do that, often you'll want to bring people together. So I know I just threw a lot at you, but
no, I was taking notes.
Helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, thank you. And it was good to see you, man.
Cool.
No, thanks again for
Good to
putting this
see you
on,
too.
and I had a good time.
Amazing. Thanks for rolling through and sticking around. And yeah, dude, label can get complicated, but at the very least, throw something up on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. You could do that tonight if you wanted to, you know, like send a few DMs to some DJs, like easy, no reason not to do it. Okay, sweet. All right, couple more. Let's just round this out. Max, how's everything going with you?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for staying on so long. Really appreciate it. This has been an amazing weekend. We met last year in San Diego, Halloween weekend. I was out there DJing Firehouse. You were playing a warehouse
Sick.
dressed as like a llama, and we talked
Yes.
about your track, the edit of an edit, and you played it. Epic moment. It was great. So thank you for that. Super sick party. Great seeing you again. In addition to being an artist, I also have an event series here in Chicago. It's called Dusk Dance Music, and they're pop-up DJ sets, typically earlier in the evening, like 8 p.m. to midnight. The shows are free. I'm always working to elevate local artists and elevate artists in the area, give people an opportunity that don't really get to play, and we're trying to get into booking bigger artists. So my question is more from a booking perspective. For you, there are so many parties out there. There's so many people reaching out to you. There's only so many days in a year. Aside from rate, what goes into the decision-making process for you for what shows to play and where to go?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I feel like this is useful for both people who throw events, also
Right,
for people who want to be
exactly.
touring
Yeah.
as DJing. Just curious, give me a thumbs up if you're in this chat and you're interested in throwing parties. Curious if there's anyone. Roxy, awesome, Cody, cool. So yeah, the booking process, what goes into deciding. Also, dude, Max, great to see you, hear from you. Shout out San Diego Halloween. Dude, I would say there's two very different levels for an artist. One is where you have where you are doing everything by yourself when it comes to bookings and you do not have an agent. And then there's when you have an agent or manager or someone else representing you. Because like if you know, it's like Max, you DJ, right? So it's like if you are representing yourself, then it's like it's pretty simple. It's like you could probably imagine what matters. It's like, you know, if I message you and I'm like, dude, I'm throwing a party at literally the coolest location ever, and it's the sickest lineup, but I can give you a free sandwich. Would you want to DJ? And you'd be like, make it 2 free sandwiches and you got yourself a deal. Like what, you know, like you could figure out what makes sense for you based on like how cool the opportunity seems. If you're like the scheduling, you know, it's like the opportunity itself, the scheduling, and then the fee are probably 3 basic qualities. You know, I feel like all that is pretty self-explanatory. When it comes to having an agent, there are a few other things that can become a factor. Agents can be very aware of the politics that go into a city. So like, if you're in Chicago and you try to book me and my agent is like trying to get me to play Arc Festival or Lollapalooza, for instance. Like if it's often a big festival will have promoters or events that are smaller that the artist needs to play if they want to play the big festival. So like, this is very, very common. So like a very classic example is like, if you want to play Coachella, you need to play a Golden Voice venue the year leading up to Coachella. If you play someone else's party, Coachella's probably going to be like, nah, you know, so that sort of politics can be a bigger factor once you're dealing with like bigger artists. Agents will also just like, you know, it might become more important to have like a relationship, but you know, it's like if you're a brand new promoter and you're reaching out to a small artist who has an agent, but you're like really passionate and you're like, I know this is a small event. I know we don't have a big fee, but we have a community that's so excited about this music and it'll be a really fun party. And this artist is going to play like exactly what's authentic to them and they're going to have the best time. Like an agent might be like, okay, I see the vision here. Here are pictures from the last party. This looks awesome. Let's do it. So, yeah, does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, definitely. And I understand that different levels it changes. So I appreciate the insight, man. Thanks again. Really,
Yeah.
really appreciate you answering that.
Yeah, of course. And you know, agents might also have like a list of things that they'll want to see. You know, and often if you know, if they're nice and you know, it's like if you ask to book, you know, Skrillex and you're like, hey man, I'm throwing this like party, like it would be sick if Skrillex played. How like we have like a, you know, we can get him pizza for dinner, like they're probably not going to answer you. But if you're sort of like, if you're reasonable in who you're talking to, being like, hey, like, you know, smaller artist has an agent, you know, you're like, hey, I know like we're like an up and coming promoter, would love to make this happen. Like, what do you need from me to like submit like a booking request? And they might be like, give me the date, the run of show, the fee, the venue, the ticket price. Like they might they'll often like hit you with a list of things that they'll need to know, which then you can respond. So, but yeah, just shoot your shot, get out there, and dude, so sick that you're throwing events because that's such a huge asset for like whatever you want to be doing. If you want to be DJing, making music, starting a label, like events, really, really powerful for all of that, dude. So rooting for you, and hope there's some other Chicago people who will check out what you do.
Thank you, brother. Thanks.
Of course, dude. Let's go. Amazing. All right. I think Jacob, you are the last hand raised. How are you doing, dude? Let's see. And your mic is muted. We can't hear you yet. But if you scroll over, if you're on your phone, just check that button. Boom.
Did I get it?
Alrighty, man. What's up?
I'm on
Yeah,
my phone.
good.
What's up, man? Thanks for talking to me, bro. I'm sticking around.
Of
Yeah,
course.
dude, just thank you to my sister. She sent me the course that you put out. I put the email out and got in here. She's a huge fan of you, bro. I think she saw you at Forest or something. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
dude, I've been
Love
watching
that.
your stuff. It's all comedy, bro. I watch your stuff on Instagram all the time.
Let's go. Fuck yeah, dude.
But yeah, dude, long story short, like I've been I started messing with DJing stuff last November, about a year ago. I bought my little DDJ Flex 4, started messing around with it. I wanted to do it for a long time, but I just recently got around to it. And I kind of learned all the waveforms and everything. And then I started to learn song structure through that. And then I started dabbling like 2 months ago. And so far I've played at like 2 shows, and I've just recently found DistroKid, you talked about, and I got my stuff on Spotify, but I've been putting it all out on SoundCloud recently. So my question for you is, because I did this thing on Instagram where I was just DJing for, just putting content out there and just mixes. And then I'm big in the automotive community, and there's this festival called Grid Life that it mixes like Time Attack and drifting with music. And I kept putting like day 1 of mixing until like Grid Life picks me up. I got to like day 15, gave up, right? I waited like 2 weeks because I was just like, it puts pressure when you put in content all the time, putting yourself out there looking stupid, But eventually they actually hit me up, and last July they flew me out to Wisconsin for this event. So that was pretty sick. And I didn't even know how to
That's
use
amazing.
DJs or anything. So I had to bring my little controller with me and everything. And everybody else was local,
Incredible.
and they were like, "You must be big in Florida or something." I was like, "No, I just posted on Instagram and they picked me up." So
Let's go. That's so sick.
thank you. But I haven't reached out or done any of that stuff since, because adult life and stuff, and it gets in the way. But I do got a show coming up locally. I've been talking to the local house scene and whatnot, and I was wondering, like, how should I go about hitting up that management team again? Because I would like to play for them again, but I don't know, is that like overstepping my boundaries, or should I wait for them to hit me up? Or I don't know if that's how to interact with those people,
Yeah.
like the managers and stuff who work for Collective.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I feel like if you ever do a show with someone, I think being polite goes such a long way. Like a thank you message, if you're meeting in person, thanking people for the opportunity, that goes such a long way. So that's like a very good step, like when something good happens, to
Yeah.
be like appreciative and nice. Because yeah, dude, a lot of people do shows and never get a thank you, like
Yeah.
and it's a lot of hard work to throw a party. So that's a really good start. In terms of reaching out to people though, it's like it's along the same lines of everything we've been talking about with sending demos. It's like put your stuff out there, shoot your shot, and yeah, like I think the fact that you got this opportunity by really grinding on it and putting yourself out there, even hearing you talk about it, how you're like, man, at the risk of like putting yourself out there and looking like an idiot or whatnot, and it's like, dude, don't talk down on yourself like that when it actually like came through and something awesome happened because you put yourself out there. I think the biggest thing is like you can't predict what's going to work and what's not going to work, so shoot your shot, do what you have energy for, and yeah, just do not give up. But yeah, reaching out to people, messages. And one last thing, if you want to DJ in your local city, I think one thing that's really powerful, go to the parties yourself and be like a fan first. Like don't
Yeah.
skip that step, because it's like, if you must not really like the party that much if you're not willing to attend it yourself, like multiple times, and if you go multiple times, showing up early, staying late, meeting people, if you stay to the very end and meet someone and then you're like, the first thing you say is like, hey, I'm Jacob, I'm trying to DJ your next party, they'll be like, all right, nice
That's
to
so
meet you
true,
too, man. But it's like, you want to like connect with the people who you share that passion for, and it's like, if builds that relationship, you don't want that person you don't want to like talk to that person just for using them to get a booking. Like
Yeah.
that's not very good vibes. And they'll be able to
It's
tell
good you
if you're
said that too. The way I got
Yeah.
that booking locally was actually because the event organizer, he landed a role. He works for Rinse and Repeat or DJs with them. It's a local Jacksonville group. Man, they were at this
Yeah.
Halloween festival, which is also in Florida, and he was at a pop-up, and he saw me out there in the crowd. It was like, we're like 30 people like in the woods before the main event, and I think that's why he messaged me because of that. So that's good you said that, because I do that. I'm pretty good with like networking, and I'm also having fun while I'm doing it. So it's definitely don't overlook that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I'm not a fan of, I don't like the term networking when it comes to music because it just sounds so like businessy.
Yeah, it's like too much
I mean,
business.
Dude, yeah, dude, like if you're selling like, like insurance, no one is like, dude, you love insurance also? Dude, like, bro, insurance like made me cry like tears of joy last weekend. Like, like versus like music that is like relative, like, dude, dance music is like so niche in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
It's like when we meet people who love it, like, dude, that's just like such an amazing, like you should feel like these are people you want to be friends with, like
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
energy that I feel like you legitimately should want to feel that. Like, oh my God, you're the one who throws this party. Like, dude, this party means so much to me. The artist you're booking, like, we could probably nerd out talking about music for like 8 hours. Like, that sounds like someone who you might want to be friends with. And if that person, if that isn't in your city, then my hope is that, for other people, like, hopefully you can go to those other places or message those people online and just like, wherever the closest city is, like if you're in, the suburbs and you take the 45-minute drive into town or like, the next big city or whatever, I think it's all about just finding that community. And when you can bridge the gap from online to in person, I think it's really powerful. So yeah, Jacob, does that sort of help answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, it does a lot. I think I got that business person talking to me sometimes and the fun one arguing, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to get back to having more fun with it because it's like, you try to be serious about things, but you're trying to have fun at the same time to create. So it's kind of like a balance you got to find, I guess, right?
100%. All right, dude. But yeah, Jacob, appreciate your good vibes.
Thanks for
and
talking to me,
dude,
man. I
good luck with
appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
All right. Yeah, of course. Appreciate everyone's patience. I see a couple more hands. I'm definitely pretty just like I want to answer all the questions. So you guys cool if I answer these last few and then we'll do a little song share? Okay, sweet. Rob Boss, dude, been so long. How's everything going? Good to see you.
It was so good. So good. I'm really happy to see you too. Yeah, like this is like so energizing and beautiful. I love this. You're wonderful, man. I gotta tell you.
Appreciate
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to honestly, I less questions. I just want to tag on to some things that you were saying, and it's beautiful, like the advice that you're giving. And it's like DJs and producers are just humans, they're just people.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just connect with people as they are, like, send thank you notes, right? Even if that thank you note is 6 months late, like that's okay. People love to get gratitude, it's like it's fine. So just go ahead and reach out. Like you just want to say hi, like, hey yo, I was thinking about that party from forever ago. That thing was so dope. That's all you got to say. That's it,
Dude, such good advice. Such good advice.
And the other thing is that like somebody else was concerned about whether or not to do a marketing job or do music. And let me tell you, you got to do both. That was great advice in many ways. Like the nutshell though, you should like take the marketing job, man. Because if you can pay for your artwork with a marketing job, do it. Like artwork costs money. It
100%.
sucks. You can be your best investor. And so you got to make money somehow.
100%.
And on that, like I don't know any DJs, any producers that actually didn't like you were saying, diversify your income streams. I don't know any DJs or producers that don't have a main job or a side job or whatever the hell that means. So there's that. And then the other thing was tag producers and DJs in your mixes. You put a mix out, tag people, man. Let them know. They tweet about it, yeah, or whatever, X about it or whatever they call it now.
Great advice. Great advice. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, Rob Boss dropping knowledge. Let's go. Amazing.
I'm here for it. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You're beautiful. This is so great. The community you bring together, which on that very last note, the thing that got me into the rave ever in the first place, I just walked straight backstage. Somebody else said they were like, oh, I can just go backstage at like Electric Force or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you can. You can. And all you have to do is act like staff, be like, hi, I'm helping you clean up. And you just pick up a fucking trash bag and people will let you get into anyway. Okay, because you're garbage. Come back in here, pick up the garbage. You can pick up the beer cans. Oh, you got the beer cans. Holy fuck, shit! Please, yes, please. And then the promoters never forget you. And then like, and all the
That's
DJs.
such good advice.
It's like it's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Unreal, dude. Oh man, Rob Boss he did the boot camp the very first year that I did it back in 2020. So it's like coming up on 5 years, I guess. Yeah, 2025.
Oh my God.
Crazy, dude. So much love for you.
I love the way your class is dressed, dude. It's so beautiful. Like
Dude.
you've refined, you know, and you brought Danny in for class 2. That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, he's the man. Oh,
And it's
so
great.
awesome. Well, dude, I just hope to see you on the dance floor sometime soon, dude. Been too long, but
I will see you.
appreciate the energy, the wisdom, and yeah, man. Hope you're
I love
good.
you.
Love you
Yeah,
too,
man, I'm
dude.
doing much better, dude. The energy here, harmonic resonance, man. You know, harmonic
Let's
resonance.
go. Amazing. All right, and I think on that note, Sarah, are you ready to take it home? Do you have a final question?
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of piggyback off of like that was a perfect segue. I guess my question's a little bit specific, but I hope I can also like I always hope that my journey can encourage other people also as far as like making moves and like when you're called to something, just like, yeah, like set that up for yourself. Like the marketing thing, that's exactly what I did. Like I have a remote marketing job. Like I was very specific and very intentional about that so that I could work on music, so that I could travel and go to parties and like meet people and just be out here. Like one, because I love the rave. Like I'm a raver through and through. And then I'm also
Yeah.
an artist, so it goes hand in hand, of course. But yeah, so like be intentional, do that if that's a lane that you can find. 10 out of 10 recommend, because now I literally just like I've just been setting myself up with like, okay, like how can I just be out there? So I guess my question is like pretty much like this year, like I travel, like I basically have been like, I know we just said we don't like saying networking, but like one of my other like mentors was like, dude, you've just been on like it's been like networking tour 2024 for you, basically. Like I've just been like out here. And then like I just want to run it this year, you know, like I want to almost set up like a mini tour for myself. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on like just how I can specifically do that as far as like maybe reaching back out to people that I've met and like, but also when it has to do with like logistics, you know, as far as like popping back up in other countries and just kind of being like all over the place like I've been, but then being able to like game plan it maybe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. So awesome that you're interested in getting out there and DJing. And yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I feel like a lot of artists who even DJ really cool shows book their own tours and book their own shows. So there's so much that you can do completely by yourself, just by messaging people. You know, if you have friends who throw parties in other cities, you know, reaching out, being like, hey, when's your next party? Would love to do something. If you throw parties in your own city, that's something that you can like be like, yo, dude, maybe I could play your party, you could play my party. That'd be kind of fun. If you like the people you're talking to, then all this stuff becomes super doable and should be really, really fun. Logistically, just know that it might be tiring and that it might not be lucrative, especially like to start. But it's all just about like what your goals are. Because I think if your goals are to make money like as quickly as possible, then you know, some people struggle with like playing too many shows and then they don't have time to work on music. And I feel like this is the case even for people who are like have like a local DJ residency where if they DJ too much, then their creative time goes into like, all their creative time starts to go towards finding music and DJing versus making music, which is like, making music, I feel like can have a bigger impact over a longer period of time, but can be less fruitful initially. And I think, I mean, my whole entire career, like all of it really at the core has started with like making music and getting songs played by other DJs, signed to labels, and then like appreciated by fans. And even like, you know, I've, you know, started like videotaping myself when I DJ and posting clips online and stuff. And those things can help with like getting visibility, but it doesn't actually translate to people wanting to see you DJ until they fall in love with like your music, like, or, you know, maybe there's like a recording of a DJ set that they really fall in love with. But I think the real connection for like most artists, I feel like, is through a great song that like someone really connects with, and then, you know, creates memories to that song and that sort of thing. So I feel like, you know, I think that's my biggest advice is like, you know, like if you, you know, like if you're gonna DJ and tour and like set up a tour, just know it will take a lot of effort and a lot of time and not be lucrative. But if you do it in a way that just seems so fun, then like amazing. That's like so worth it, you know? So, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, I think, you know, following that energy, like if something really gives you life, then like there's a reason. And if you do it, it's like harnessing like nuclear powered energy, you know, because it's like you're doing things that create energy as opposed to doing things that like make you feel depleted. So yeah. Sarah, was that helpful?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's actually really helpful because I think it's like I just like the trajectory, like the length of how my journey's gone and everything. Sometimes I feel like I'm in this like okay, now that I've like started to put myself out there, I've got to like catch up, and like I like to just bring it back to the music. Like I want my career to have longevity and to reach people through the music, through my music.
Yeah.
And so even like being like, okay, it's okay, like DJing will like fall into place in the right time, but like giving yourself like the time and space and grace to like work on the music is super helpful.
So important. So important. Oh, Sarah, thanks for the great question. And I hope you make that tour happen, and I hope you make music. And I don't know.
Thank you.
Well, of course. And
It'll
maybe
all
one last
come
thing I'll say
together.
about that.
It's
Yes. When I love having shows to play because they're like mini deadlines. Like, I feel like part of the reason I've gotten so interested in like making a song really quick is because like some of my best experiences producing will be like an hour before the gig, and I'll be like, oh my God, I have an hour. I'm gonna fucking make this song or finish this track so that I can DJ it that night. And there's times where I'm like, but my computer is like bouncing down a track while I'm like in the DJ booth and I'm like on my computer. Yeah, and it's just like I feel like having those external deadlines are so powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm super
Really
ADHD, so like honestly, stuff like this, like having deadlines is like it's very helpful for me. Otherwise, I'll start a million new projects or like whatever.
100%. I could not agree more. Awesome. All right.
You're awesome.
West 4, I saw your name pop up. I can't say no. Talk to me. What's your question, dude?
Thank you so much, Justin. I'll make it very brief. I know I'm the last one. First of all, I want to say thank you. Probably it's not even a question. It's just saying like I've been in a dark place, trying to find inspiration. I feel like I've been DJing for more than 10 years, and you know, obviously, I feel like I'm not gonna take it to the next level until I start making my own stuff. And it's just complicated, you know, it's life. But you brought, you know, an alternative way to make things easier, because we have the groove inside of ourselves, and sometimes it's just trying to make it simple. So thank you for that. And if any, you know, like let's say I'm trying to find my north, right? On my imaginary how do you call these things, like shows you the
Compass,
yeah,
compass
on the
maybe.
how do you know, this is the last one, how do you know how or where to, you know, pinpoint when there's so many things you have to do, the community, the making your own music, the finding gigs, the life, you know, making lunch for tomorrow, all that stuff.
Yeah. Dude, great question. And I feel like you may have heard me say this, but I'll just to reiterate it. I feel like the best place to start with figuring out where that compass should point is that energy within you, and feel what brings you joy, what brings you life, what brings you energy. When you do those things, what makes you feel like, you know, it's like, dude, have you ever done something for like 2 hours and you feel more awake and excited than you do when you started? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like whatever that thing is, like that is like the best place to start. Because like if you are doing something that's creating energy within you, you will then have more energy for other things, right? You know, so it's like, and I just think you're connecting with something very deep within you. When you do something and you feel like energized afterwards, it's like you're meant to be doing that thing. Like your body is telling you, like, yo, this shit is awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like that's where it starts, you know. And for you, like, is there anything that you do that resonates with that feeling, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Again, you know, it's been a long trip. I moved to New York for that main reason, you know, the dream of being able to play. And there's been times where, oh my God, I got so many gigs and I have no time for doing anything else. But there's also been times where I DJ like twice a month. And so far, I've been thinking that so long as I don't stop, like the light is gonna still be there, right? So that's why I'm,
yeah,
you know, good times, bad times, but definitely every single time that I play, I'm someone else, and I love that part of myself. You know, just being able to be there and play is just it just that's the happiest I can ever be.
Amazing. Okay, so that's so beautiful. And then what I would say is like, I don't know where you're at in your production journey, but wherever you are, I would say like, you know, I would love for you to experience what it feels like when you DJ your own song.
I can
And
imagine
like,
having your own kids, right?
right, exactly. And like, I think that even if you DJ and there's, if you, you know, have you ever DJ like the warm-up set where like 0 people are there when when it begins, right?
Yeah.
Like that, like even if that's where you play your song for the first time, like when no one, before anyone has come, like that's like a good milestone. And then, you know, play, you know, and then ultimately play the song when like the room is packed. But I think even when it's like just the bartender, you know, like that can be like a really cool, and the bartender starts like bopping their head, you know, like that's great, you know. But I think that I feel like that is excuse me, I feel like as a producer, I feel like if DJing is something you love and you want to make music, I wouldn't recommend forcing yourself to make music because you want to get more gigs. Like that might, if that's the main energy, then it's not going to be fun, you know? But if the energy becomes like, oh man, I can't wait to play this song in my DJ set and like share the emotion or the energy that I'm feeling, you're making this beat and you're like, oh, like this is fun. And then you bring that to the dance floor. I feel like that's where you can really connect with the magic there. And I think, you know, that is just such a great place to start. So, you know, when I hear like you've been DJing sometimes twice a month, it's like, bro, hopefully the next time you have a new track that's ready, you know, for that show. And then that's, you know, you play the song, maybe you're like, oh, this section was too long, or the kick drum was too quiet. you know, you make 1 or 2 tweaks, play it again. Maybe you have a second song that's ready the next time, you know, and it's like, then you're like, wow, this song mixes so well with these tracks. And then you're like, message those DJs, be like, yo, I played your song in my set last night and it went off. And they're like, sick, thank you so much, dude. And then you're like, yo, any chance I can send you some of my music? I've been mixing it and it just goes so well. Or like, I'm really inspired by what you do. It's like, you know, these are all the ways that things can sort of steamroll once you are like just really just doing what brings you energy and what brings you life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's you know, you said it, it's energy creating energy,
Yeah,
and you got really good
100%.
energy. Thank you for that.
I appreciate you, dude. Well, yeah, I'm rooting for you. So awesome. And dude, appreciate you holding it down with a great last question. I said this and I do mean it. For those that are still here, I know there's some people with your cameras off and stuff. Should we do one last little song share to end the night?
Yes.
Let's fucking go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. All right. Drop your links. Drop them. Please send SoundCloud links and let's have some fun. Open link. Okay, hold on. I need to open a new browser. Doom. Okay, so here. Boom. We got Rory, Miles, Jake Panda, Sam, Jenny, Kyle, Cody, Mateo. All right, I'll give it like a few more seconds. Choose Miles. We didn't get to listen during groups. Nicole, thank you for sharing. Okay. Yosef, dude, Yosef, if you can send me like a streamable link, that would be ideal. Kyle, Sarah, Kane. Okay. Roxy. Boom. Okay, here. I'm seeing what we can do here. Okay. Roxy, Yosef. Dude, Yosef with the quick. Oh yeah, that link didn't work. Honestly, like Yosef, I can just download your thing. If you can't get it uploaded, because it's just there's not that many people. Okay, my link is working. No, it did not work. But did I download your track? Bumpa. Okay, yes, I got it. All right. Let's see, Detailer. I think I got you. Okay, yes, you're chilling. Okay, sweet. All righty. I think this should be good. Boom. And yes, okay. Apologies if I missed your link. Hopefully this works. And I will start with Yosef. Boom. Boom. Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to blast the comments with positivity on everyone's songs. Let's go. Let's hype each other up. All right. Okay, amazing. Boom. And give me a thumbs up if my audio works, by the So sick. All right, let me go to the SoundCloud links. Apologies for only playing a snip of everyone's songs. Let's run it.
Aerate it. Warm it up. That's it then. That's it then.
So sick. Banging. Let's go. Vocal in a 909. Game over.
Fridge.
You wanna buy something? I'm like, no, I'm just dancing to the hum of your fridge. And I'm like, I like it here, I like the lighting. I'm like, I like it here, I like the lighting. No.
So awesome. Oh, those vocal chops are so funky.
One thing about me, I love parks.
That vocal's so good. Let's see, Savage. Really sick. So awesome.
My advice is
That's advice.
all you need.
So awesome.
Bust a move. This is the groove. Bust a move. This is the groove.
That's so awesome. So sick.
You're running out of time. Time. Where are we going? Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry Where are we going?
So sick.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me, senpai.
So awesome. Senpai and then Bad Biatch. So sick and just benign with a bunch of crazy sounds. Unreal. Everyone, can you all unmute and make some noise for each other? That was so awesome.
Let's
go.
Y'all are fucking
Let's go.
amazing.
Good job, y'all.
So sick.
Hell yeah.
So awesome. So awesome. Oh, amazing.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, seriously. Good job, everyone. And yeah, thank you all for staying. I know this went super late. You guys are all absolute legends. Here, just like as a little thing, and there's a link for this in the application, but as part of the for the class, for anyone who has like any questions to talk through anything about the class, I have like a thing where you can sign up for a phone call. Let's see if I have that link. Okay, maybe you could drop the phone call link. Just want to give that straight to people who are like, if you're down for like 4 hours of hanging, happy to hop on a quick call to chat if you have questions about the whole class thing. Independent of that, please keep in touch with each other. Feel free to shoot me a message. I try my best to check my DMs, and if there was a part of this weekend that really stood out to you, let me know. Always trying to do a better job passing on the knowledge and, you know, hearing from, you know, the people who spoke, you know, and shared a little bit about their experience. It makes me so happy and just fills my heart up to just hear about, you know, what this journey is looking like for each of you, because, you know, making music, it's my favorite thing in the whole world. And when I see other people connect with that same magic, it just makes me so happy. So yeah, love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me this whole weekend. Make some music, send it out into the world, and hopefully have as much fun as humanly possible while doing all of it. So thank you guys, and more of these types of lectures to come too. So yeah, take care, and I hope to see you all soon. All righty, much love, everybody. Have a great night. Peace. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.